are.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm muted. Peace, 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 love, and bliss to all of you great lights that have come in. I want you guys to welcome Heru HAINUS. He is about to. Oh, it's still going. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, why is this thing still going? Do you see this? Hold on.
What's the video? Is the video
Yeah,
still
it's
on?
still playing. Hold on a second. And I shut it down. I don't even know why it's still playing.
No doubt.
Okay, there we go. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry about that, guys. All right, now, peace and bliss to everybody that's come in. I appreciate you guys so much for coming in and sharing your energy, your great light, everything that comes with your essence. It is appreciated. Showing respect and honor to the brother. As I told y'all when we watched the video on the water, I was just like, yep, I'm a fan. Yep, y'all go over there. Let's get it going. Everybody that come in now, y'all hit this, go ahead, subscribe because you're gonna want to. He definitely bring the fire. He is not playing, right? He's like your girl, but he don't have no time for game. Let's just get to it. And that part, brother. How you doing, brother? I want you to go ahead and introduce. I'm introducing you, but tell them a little bit about you, brother. I appreciate you for coming and joining us.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. The pleasure is mine. Heru HAINUS, as she stated, obviously, been doing this just for a little bit in terms of like research. I consider myself to be an avid researcher, right? A chemist, alchemist at that. I think we all are to a large degree. And we're all searching for the truth. We're truth seekers, right? And this is exactly what this is all about. This type of building, this process is necessary in order to reach the highest level of illumination. So this is what it's all about. We're about to play no games. We're about to get into the fire. That's me because, we got that fire energy ready. I'm pretty sure all of you have the same type of energy. And I'm just
Wait,
just
hold on, brother. They said something about that they cut the live. What's going on, y'all? What's cut? I don't see nothing cut on my
no.
end.
Yeah,
let me go check it from from my phone.
All right.
Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Let's see how she doing. Cause it's showing this live, guys. Y'all don't see it do say stream unavailable. Are they serious?
Right.
Showing the crystal caves is a violation of what?
That's what they just hit you with?
Well, I don't know if I got a violation, but it's showing I'm still live. Maybe since we're not showing that now, it may come back on. Let's see. It should come back on. That's real crazy.
And my video is still present, right? What we see is what was broadcasting.
Yeah,
correct?
all that's on there. Yeah, okay. It's showing live for me now, so I don't know what's going on. It was showing unavailable. We're good now, guys. You guys hit me in the chat. Let me know we're good to go, y'all. They tried it. They really tried it, but that was like a no nonsense. Yeah, we back in there. We in there. Stop playing with us, y'all. Don't play with us, YouTube. Y'all ain't right. We ain't doing none of this. Go ahead, brother. Trying to interrupt my brother and them fabulous words. Let's get it, bro. What you said?
Listen. No, but yeah, it is what it is. We know it's that type of energy, but this shows people and this proves to people why this is extremely important. We have to get this sort of knowledge out here. And, like Sister knows that one of my main things and one of the biggest things, which should be a main priority and focus of all of us, is to ensure that our children are scientifically inclined, right? So, this is what we have to do, and so I want to introduce this video.
Brother, hold on, brother. I didn't know that was playing. I just added it to the screen. Pause it while you're talking. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the ultimate, and that just speaking of this is like I had this guy from Spain put these videos together. It's called AI conceptual animation. And it's important to me. I know the sister, she's seen a lot of people love my intro and stuff like that, to where we don't have to prove to anybody who we were, in terms of the Egyptians, and Sumerians, Atlanteans, and all of these, we have to just prove it to them now. That's how we reclaim it, by heightening our intelligence, heightening our awareness, and then taking it to the next step by actually actualizing what we know. So I do that in a myriad of different ways, but one of the ways I think is a very powerful subliminal way in order to do it is through images, because imagery is important. These Blancos call it iconography. They cast out their images, and then we in turn interpret the world through the images, and then that includes ourselves, how we see our people, how we see other people. So it's important to recapture our images. Let's not wait for them to educate us, but I'm pretty sure everybody here in the chat is on that anyways. But this is what I love to do as well. Recapture our images, recreate our iconography, so that our children from birth, and onward, just, they relate to the images and they just proclaim them and claim them for what they are, because we constantly remind them of that's who they are. So that's the whole point of this. So we're going to let this play right quick. and then we about to get into the heat. All right, you ready to start?
I'm ready, brother. You already know that. Light the fire. Let's get it.
All right, let's get it.
This boy got a hit. There might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. I've been thinking what this life has to mean to you, and I like to say, why sleep? I was hoping when awake we'll make our dreams come true. Didn't hear me say, love can always count on me. Hey, 'cause I'm always where I'm supposed to be. And now I seen your life change, my life changed when night came and we came together for love. It seems that life's strange, 'cause light came when dark flames had came to come tear up our love. And I don't wanna play no games, no. Just a baby in the day you give me your last name. Oh, there might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
She can't talk with no dry eyes. It's sunsets on that sky ride. Her hands up, no high five. I'm so high, I skydive. My life now feels screwed up. We don't move or we don't move up. I swear life is a ghost town, 'cause all we do is stay booed up. I can't lose you, I'll fight back. 'Cause who can give me these nights back? Just arches up in that nice back. She drunk in love with no nightcap. Just come for me and my block scars. Won't take long to see rock hard. Just a wedding ring that's rock hard, and long nights when I'm rock hard. Yeah.
There might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
That's how I felt, LT, when I seen this. I'm like, bro, you got to start it with this. Like, there's no way we can bypass this part. Yes, brother, love it, love it, love it. You already know.
That's what's up. That's
Set
what's
the
up.
mood.
Yeah, so that was one of my, that was not one of, that's my baby mama. I only got one baby mama, but we're not together at the time, but she has a beautiful spirit. So,
Yes.
you know, you can see what kind of connected us. Obviously, we had the same type of vibe. But I would say the mother of my star child, I'm gonna just start calling her that. But
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So what you let's just take it from the top. We were talking about those crystals. You know what I found to be very interesting. You know that those selenite crystals, or selenite. The name
Mhm.
Selena is a Greek word or Greek name for the word moon. That's actually called moon crystals because they thought that those crystals waxed and waned according to the moon. You know, which is impressive about those crystals. But mind you, we talk about the chemical formula. You're talking about that calcium. You're talking about hydrogen and oxygen, and that calcium and sodium. Plus, that you're dealing with, once again, crystals that are in the form of what we call sugar. These sugars, and that's exactly what it is. You mix and match these chemical elements, and you'd be surprised what the earth is able to come up with. And that's what's so important about that periodic table of elements and our children understanding that, because that's how they have built and that's how they maintain their artificial matrix. They're not in you know, they're not confused about what these crystals are. You have to, and that's why I tell my people all the time, we have to understand they are not confused about what crystals are. You know me, when you look at the videos that I presented, I tell people, when you look at that periodic table of elements, the carbon 14 group, which is carbon, silica, germanium, tin, lead, flavonium, that vertical column is called the carbon 14 group. That group's nickname is called the crystallogens. This is not something that I came up with. This is what European science calls us, crystallogens. Carbon only bonds in crystal formation. When carbon can only bond with itself, it makes a diamond. That's why a diamond is the purest, seen as the purest gem on earth, because that's when carbon only bonds by itself. It creates a diamond. And that's how carbon bonds, essentially. That's how sugar bonds. That's how all these elements that are a part of our, that are part of our organism bond in crystal formation. So another thing, and I'm gonna let you jump in. Another thing to really understand too is that when they study DNA, when Rosalind Franklin sent that photo, I believe it was in the early 1940s or early 50s, to Francis Crick and James Watson, she gave them a photo that was seen or produced by a science called X-ray crystallography. X-ray crystallography is the study of how crystals form. That's what they use in order to figure out what DNA look like. A science that is used to study how crystals form. This is all readily available information. This is accessible to anybody. So we have to understand these crystals. We are the truest manifestations of crystals come to light. Plain and simple. So it's extremely important that we recognize that and that we understand that, right? Not just thinking that, because a lot of people outside of that realm of awareness always associate crystals with what they see the earth form, but the biggest manifestation of crystal formation is the carbon beings or carbon babies ourselves. So yeah.
That is correct. And like you said, with the diamonds, right? I was thinking too, like, I was telling you, like the cube, right? Thinking about that cube. Think about the shape of a diamond, like so totally opposite, a cube and a diamond. So now when you have these infractions that are put upon you that come into your actual system and start to transmutate, because that's what it's doing, mutating your genes, it's putting it into these cube effects, which has a whole goes into so much other stuff spiritually. I mean, like literally. But when it's that cube, it's a different transformation. When we're supposed to be diamond, because pressure creates diamond, like the brother said, the carbon, creating those crystalline, the crystallization in itself. So we being crystalline beings, we need the pressure of diamond for the carbon to be manifested. That happens with what? That heat. Like when that plasma be racing, create that heat in your blood, you start getting hot, and that's all that that heat that's building up. That carbon is like, getting heated.
I'm trying to tell you, yeah, it is. And I say for any disbelievers, one of the things that I love, you got to get this book in your library, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. Okay, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. Okay, and I'm gonna read for you right here on page 153, chapter 20, the Gila bomb. It said that they found out that all Black people contained a rare genetic marker called glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase A, which was present almost exclusively in Black Americans. Now, the thing that should jump out at you, remember we talking about crystals. Now, this shows you the nomenclature. Nomenclature is the words that the European uses for different type of bodies or different type of knowledge or disciplines, right? So I always tell people, and I say this slowly, The compartmentalization of information or breaking up information is how he excels at manipulating you. You like we said, there's never nobody on this planet, especially here in the United States of America, that has went through his school system and read any of his books from cover to cover. He break his stuff down to chapters. He ain't gonna never let you know the whole truth because it's right there in his material. You see what I'm saying? But notice how he also changes it up. He said that we contain a gene, and he started it off with something called glucose. So first, glucose is a sugar. Now it's a gene. I'm telling you, it's a hormone. But like we said, the great Dr. Ray Hagan said he tells different things to different people about the same thing, and that's how he excels in his manipulation tactics. But I think that that's very profound when we look at that. We have to understand that if you know that a gene, what is a gene? A unit of information. It is what your cells use to do what it does. It's kind of like on the same lines or homologous to a hormone, right? A hormone is a chemical messenger that does what? Tells your cells what to do, tells organs and tissues how to operate. So we have to understand how important this sugar is. And so when we went into these conversations, or we go into, think tanks, and we think about, or we ask ourselves, okay, what may be the obstacle in our way to achieving the maximal level of health? And unfortunately, we see sugar as being one dimensional, like it's sweet, we can quit it. No, that's nothing can be further from the truth. You can't quit sugar. Your blood runs off of glucose. Okay. Your blood runs off of it. And so with that being said, they know that the principal thing that this sugar or this crystal does is it does what? It makes bonds. We talked about that in that segment where we said that when you look at a woman and when she's lactating, lactose is glucose and galactose. These two sugars come together to create a powerful new, energy source for a being that's called a baby that has to grow from this, right? So this is very profound. So just looking at sugar in a different way in these crystals is very important. As crystals is very important for us because this is us tapping back into exactly what we are. Because who you are can change. Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, all that can change. What you are cannot. So they know exactly what you are. That's why they running around scared. And we be like, man, why are these blancos running around here all scared and withholding information and acting like we a danger to society? Because you are. You are. They know when you come into knowledge of what you are, and then you have the willpower to actualize the information you take in, you're the most dangerous thing on the so-called planet.
That's right. That's right, brother. The power. Oh my God. Look. What's funny, right? That video. They knew you was gonna talk about this. No, let me stop the Blanco. Listen, that dirty ass. That video, brother, right? Now, remember it said that they went into the room. It was like, oh, they was about to die up in there. When they went up in that cavern with those crystals, they was about to die. Imagine if we went up in there, what would it do? Probably heal you instantly. Any type of pain, anything you got. So imagine the energy of those crystals and you being a crystallized being in a proper balance. The energy that gives off and everything that she was even talking about. That's like literally you in a smaller form. But go ahead, brother.
No doubt. Listen. That's why them videos are so powerful, because when you dissect the lies of these blancos, you really just sit in awe, because it's like, okay, well, not only that, you take a look at, if you recall a lot of the old Superman movies, when he goes to his ship, or even the recent Superman movie, he's around all these crystals, the same type of crystals, large crystals, right? But remind you, they were able to get over on this was that they made a white man whose superpower is the sun. We didn't sit back. We go to the theaters and we watch this crap. We say, oh yeah, that sounds about right. A white man whose superpower is the sun, flying to the sun, can't stay in the sun on the ground, but can fly to the sun.
But he could go right directly to it.
He can go directly to it, but can't be in it on the ground. But yet it showed you that what they were showing. Do you know? In all actuality, here go chemistry again. Do you know krypton is a real element in the periodic table of elements?
Yes.
Its element number is 36. And krypton means hidden. So the symbolism within Superman movies is very deep. But it goes to show you that, like they said, when he was around these crystals, of course, he gets amplified. But then remember, this is what we talked about. We said, listen, Superman's nickname is the Man of Steel. Here goes chemistry at work again when you know chemistry. Carbon and iron make steel. You have iron in your blood, carbon all within your organism. Carbon and iron make steel. You are the real men and women of steel. Remember we was talking on the phone and I said, through their artificial technology, they can only achieve man and machine through merging in or going through a process of transformation they call transhumanism, right? Where they can merge in with machine. But we achieve this organic metallic state already. Calcium is a metal. Iron is a metal. This is fact. This is chemistry.
Yeah.
So what are we tripping about? This is fact. So I always say that, look, the most important thing for us to understand is to get the basics, to get the fundamentals down, we have to understand chemistry. And it's not about being an expert chemist. Some of these things, once they intrigue you, you'll find yourself going deeper. You won't have to sit back and be like, oh, this seems painstaking, this seems too much. No, when I look at a lot of people who are online, and I tell you, go through all of the videos. It don't matter who you're talking about. And some of our greats, actually, you'll see these videos, they'll be like, what is melanin? What is carbon? People like, oh, it's a super conductive molecule. Don't nobody need to know all of that. What is it? Go to when you look at what's the origins of these names, that's what makes it so powerful. The reason why organic chemistry is so hard for our children to learn is because it's in another language. Anybody here who's ever been to college or at the collegiate level, even at the high school level, who had to take classes in anatomy and physiology, biology, microbiology, all those different disciplines are in the Latin language. So I tell people, I said, imagine if you had to learn history in Portuguese. It'd be kind of difficult, wouldn't it? Same thing with chemistry. All these things are in Latin. So when you take a look at carbon, carbon is Latin for coal, and coal is decomposed plant material. So they're telling you that your melanin is made of this decomposed plant material in crystalline formation. You see, so that's what's extremely important for us to understand, is that when you break down the words, you ain't got to go off, oh, carbon is this, carbon is that. No, tell me exactly what it is and why they named it what it is. Because we must remember, just because you can name something does not mean you know what it is. It's just to help familiarize you with it and take the mystery out of it. Because that's what man has done throughout his whole existence. Not us, though. Remind you, we're more than that. We're star seeds. So that's what we have to understand. So, yeah, that's huge. That's huge in that respect. But say Mia Lynn says, please share and support this knowledge. I'm trying to tell you, share and support it with everybody, because, brothers and sisters, this is the most important information that we all can come across: how to eat, how to live, and how to associate, how to relate ourselves to the environment around us. And, it's important that we realize that this is a table about us. When you revisit the periodic table of elements, that is your story. Now, this was also, we have to understand, if you look at that periodic table of elements, carbon is the same size as all the other elements. But the Blanco in the same breath will tell you that carbon is the king of all the elements. That carbon is king. So if you're playing chess, the king ain't the same size as the pawns. The king ain't the same size or the same shape as any of the other pieces, right? So it's the same thing. We have to understand that if this was the molecule that was driving them in their physiological success and endeavors, they would have made carbon the biggest block in that periodic table of elements. Okay, but they did not, because they want you to understand, when our children and we come across this knowledge, like, man, how can I use that? What how does that help my life, learning about chemistry, when everything you use, especially within this artificial matrix, is here and is responsible, and chemistry is responsible for that. And that's what we have to understand. So you have a lot of our people, when you start bringing up carbon, they're talking about, oh, you were some sort of carbon cult. And you notice the people who made these carbon cults within our community have gotten bad names, and they've been associated with cults, right? And then when you step back and you let people know, they teach organic chemistry in school, right? Carbon is called organic chemistry. The organic chemistry is the study of carbon. So when Blancos teach it in high school, middle school, and college, it's respectable. But when we talk about it, it's a cult. We got to make this stuff make sense. We got to make this stuff make sense. And there's only people who don't have the wherewithal or the awareness, or who definitely distance themselves from this information, are the ones who want to make it seem like it's pseudo, or you're throwing out snake oil. And we have to cling to our convictions. We have to think that if I don't get this right, nothing's ever going to not only make sense, nothing's ever going to change. And that's what's extremely important. So, yeah, I don't know if the sister, you still there, Sister Soul?
Yes, brother, I am here. I was muted. It seemed like it was a little echo or something, and when I muted, it kind of cleared up, but it sounds fine.
Oh, okay. On your end or my end? I want to make sure that because
no, it's not you. It's not you. It's clear now, actually.
Okay, no doubt. Listen, okay, just right quick. Like we said, I think it's this. Yeah. So just to
The
share
other one
that.
is still sharing, so you got to stop sharing this one, I think, brother.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me do that then. All right. So is that gone now? Is that?
Yep, it's gone.
All
You
right.
ready?
Okay. So I just wanted to show people. So did it pop up? Did it share? I think I might.
Yep, there we go. It's coming. Let's see. All right, there we go, brother.
All right, there it is.
Perfect.
I just wanted to show people vitamin D3, what your body takes. I wanted to let them to see the crystals. This is vitamin D3. And they added color to it because vitamin D3 is a colorless crystal. Now, mind you, they call vitamin D3, they call vitamin D the sunshine vitamin, but also remind you that you can look this up for yourself. Vitamin D is not a vitamin. It's a hormone. Vitamin D is not a vitamin. It's a hormone. Okay. Here's okay, let me go back to this page. Here is a picture of the vitamin D that's within plants. This is the crystals within plants. This is what they get from the sun.
Brother, it stopped showing for some reason.
Oh, it stopped showing?
Yeah. It was showing just a second ago, but it just stopped.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, let me make sure. All right, let me bring it back up. Okay. All right, is it showing at this moment in time? Can you see it?
No, it was showing just fine. It was on the screen as well. I don't know what happened. It just dropped off.
Yeah, they
That's what I was just thinking. Here they go. Tried to stop it from the beginning.
Right, but you can do this for yourself. All you gotta do is look up vitamin D3 crystals, and it'll show you the crystals that vitamin D is. And they'll try to put it in capsule form, but of course, it's the same thing that they do with sugar, right? You know, sugar is that we know of, sucrose or table sugar is a combination of glucose and fructose, which naturally occurs in plants, right? And you know, in your fruits and vegetables. But they tried to recreate it. Now you got to think how deep this is. That this is an energy that comes from the sun that plants make when they get carbon dioxide and water and sunlight. They make sugar, or what we call glucose. But it's in, mind you, sugar can't just exist in its only in one form. It has to bond with another sugar. So glucose bonds with this other sugar called fructose and creates sucrose. So sucrose is a natural sugar, but they artificially created and give you table sugar. And if you notice, like how the Blanco is in his arrogance, it'll be white, it'll be devoid of all light, devoid of all light. And so this vitamin D3 or this crystal allows you to do what? Bond with another metal. They just showed you. If you look up, I challenge you, those crystals that the sister just showed in her intro video, you will see that it has carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And in addition to that, it has calcium. So this sugar has bonded with calcium to make a crystal. And that's what sugar does. So you have to understand when you have this crystal called vitamin D, it bonds with other sugars, it bonds with other metals, and creates crystals. Okay, that's extremely important. But you know this as the bones, right? And why are these bones or these crystals truly important? Because inside the bones is where the blood is made. Inside the bones is where the blood is made, right? So it was like, even me and a friend of mine was discussing earlier today. This is one of the reasons why a lot of Blancos have suffered from rickets and osteoporosis, right? Because they can't be in the sun long enough to get the sunshine vitamin. They couldn't be in the sun long enough to get sunshine vitamin. So what did they do? They put it in milk. They told you they could put a hormone in milk and call it vitamin D. Because like we discussed, if they told you it was hormone D, you might not drink that milk, or you might not drink that orange juice, or you might not drink anything else that got vitamin D in it, because it's not a vitamin. It's a hormone. It's a hormone. So this is crucial. So it's like, with this so-called vitamin D or this crystal, they put it in milk, and what they do to all products, we got to understand this, brothers and sisters, all products, your canned goods, your milk, your orange juice, everything that you buy out of the store is radiated. Is radiated. They send it through a process of radiation. All your foods, canned goods and everything. And each country on this so-called planet can radiate the food at whatever levels they deem fit. You look up the radiation levels for food. And so the reason why they did that, especially when it comes to the milk, is when the radiation hits the vitamin D in the milk, it turns it to a form that blancos can assimilate.
Yep, it's buffering. Slow down. Hold on 1 second, brother. It's trying to buffer you out. Here we go. Let's slow down. Wait a second. Maybe let you catch up. You know your energy on fire anyway, so it's already going to be going with this system with some issues. So here they go, trying to put a double whammy on us, but we got it. Yes, go ahead, brother. Yes, Mia, I did hear it. I thought it was going to smooth out because it's kind of going in and out. So yeah, hopefully it's good. Now I'm going to mute up and see if that makes it better. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Oh, so is the buffering continuing, or is it? All right. So
it actually sounds clear now.
All right, it's good. Okay, so basically what you have is the radiation that they use hits the vitamin D and puts it in the form blancos could assimilate. How do we know this is true? If you look up the history of Henry Nestle is the one who came up with Nestle Corporation. How he made his mark was that they found out that Blanco women's babies were rejecting the mother's milk. This is deep shit. This is how he started Nestle Corporation. He started it by inventing artificial breast milk in the form of cow's milk. Okay, this is how Nestle Corporation got its start. And then, of course, we know through later years, and especially in the advent of the 19th century and onward, they began to proliferate the so-called trash science and pseudoscience to all of us. And then you now find out that it's a vast majority of our people depend on artificial milk or artificial lactose in order to feed their children. Right.
And brother, you know what? That's like really the sadder part, because what they don't understand, they disconnect the child from the information, which is that light coding coming from the cells. Just to mention real quick for anyone that doesn't understand that when it comes to it, when they're blocking you, right, it starts from the placenta. They want to block you. They start telling you need to take these folic acid pills. Oh, you need to take this for the promotion of the baby's brain development. This, and that. That's false. Find out what the folic acid is. But when it comes to it, right, the same thing. The breast milk has the information in it. That lactose actually has the information encoding the light code information, binary code information. So they want to cut you off from giving that to your child, so the child is not developing the crystalline configuration in its growth. So now they'll give you what? Similac, what that SIM code information we're talking about that's actually coming through the breast milk. Now it's a lack of SIM code information or Infamil. Milling of the infant. They tell you in your face what they're doing to your child. I'm gonna mute again, brother, so it's no delay. Go ahead.
Oh no, we on point. No, that's fire. And then it shows you that there's a method to their madness. So when you look at, like we talk about, we go back just a step. We talk about when they discovered that they needed cow's milk in order to feed, because the babies were rejecting the white mother's milk. Now, what they did was, when they came to the Americas, what did you see them do? We saw them ridding the Americas of the buffalo. Right? And so you thought that the Blanco was just sitting up here killing wild animals for nothing. No, he was making room for the cow. This is where you get the term cowboy, rustling cows and stuff, because he knew that this would be his main source. Okay. For his children, especially if he couldn't get us to our women to breastfeed their children. Right. But like you said, you go back to us understanding that those codes or those light codes is what the mother is passing on to the child, which they become cut off. Not to mention, if we elaborate on that even further or build on it even further, we've already, through a wealth of evidence, have substantiated that sugar is a hormone. That's what we have to understand. It is not, as in terms of European science dictates, come together as different sugars and then turn into fat, then turn into hormones. This is one of the reasons why, like I said before, when they talk about what's crucial for lipid synthesis or protein synthesis, it's sugar. Oh, you need sugar in order to make proteins and lipids. That's because sugar are these things. But once again, you have an individual who tells different things to different people about the same things, all in the effort to confuse you. And obviously we know that it works because we're dealing with an individual that is the father of the lie. So when we take a look at what we have to do, the first thing in order to reassume this great position that we have in the cosmos as the vanguards and the the stalwarts of so-called Mother Earth, what we have to do is understand that we are the crystal. In order to get that power back, we have to understand we're made up of these crystals. We are the personifications of that crystal energy. Period. There's not, you ain't got to always wear a lot of crystals and all that if you understand that you are made up of the very thing that the earth shows you in so many different ways. You just have to tap in, because the ancients told us, know thyself and you shall know all the mysteries of the universe. Know thyself. So I always find it to be ridiculous when our people relieve that responsibility to Europeans when we go into these hospitals and ask, well, what do you think is wrong with my body? Now, you've been living in your body all this time, and you don't know where the bathroom at. You don't know where the bedrooms are at. It's like you said, you go in your own house. I go in somebody's house. They've been living there for 20 years. Like, can I use your bathroom? I don't know where it's at. You sound like a fool. You sound like a fool. This is one of the reasons why they also champion this. It's actually called ageism. The older you get, they act like you're just waiting for death, because they want you to think that you should, you're dying. So don't make an attempt to get to know yourself. It's over for you. We're going to pay attention to the next generation. That's what we do subliminally. We focus more on the next generation when we have the biggest shot. Those who obviously have put forth an attempt to learn the things necessary. And of course, our children rely on us to disseminate this information to them, but we have the best shot because we are in this vessel for however long, and it's on us to harness this energy. So how do we do that? I'm talking about practical stuff. How do we do that? We understand that the sugars that they put, I challenge you, go to the grocery store, vegetables, anything in the freezer, all that junk that's in all these other aisles. Challenge yourself if you can find anything without sugar being put in it, even when you know sugar not supposed to be in there. I went and bought some green beans. I tried to buy some green beans. I had to just actually get the actual green beans, but I was looking for something that was already prepared. Sugar in there. I'm like, what the fuck is sugar in green beans for? Why do they?
Right. And then it's a preservative. They'll say.
Thank you. Now it's something else. Once again, it's something else. But they know that it's a hormone. They know that it's a hormone, and so when we understand sugar is a hormone and we see our children eating it without any regard, right? We're feeding it to them there, and then we wonder why they go through these hormonal changes, right? We wonder why they go through these hormonal changes. And if you beg to differ with me on the esoteric level, think about when they give out the wrong sugar or the wrong light codes. They call it Devil's Night. That's coming up. They literally make a practice out of giving out the wrong light codes on Halloween or Devil's Night to our children. And I think that,
absolutely.
It's just profound stuff. How we have to realize, like, that is the first step that we take, getting the right crystals in our body. You look up the chemical formulas for those crystals that was showcased by the sister in the beginning of this segment, you will realize that chemical formula has CHO. CHO is literally in chemistry a carbohydrate. That's what it means: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. A carbohydrate is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, period. You see what I'm saying? And it will bond and it will crystallize because it's a crystal in and of itself. Because we must remember that carbon only bonds in crystal formation. Carbon only bonds in crystal formation. You must remember that all life, organic life, means that it contains carbon, which means that only thing that you're looking at in terms of organic life is things in crystal formation, beings in crystal formation.
Even on what you said with the buffalo, brother, I just want to mention, if some people didn't know, buffalo were a carbon-based being, right? This is why we had buffalo here, because they were the animals that we were eating. And the reason why, because we could digest it properly because it had the same components. It was a carbon being, guys. That's why they got rid of your buffalo. Yeah. Believe it or not.
Yeah. Not only that, like we said, all organisms, anything that's considered to be organic life, is the study of life is the study of organic chemistry. That's why I tell people you gotta make sure that, especially when you go to these grocery stores, you can be tricked by the term organic. Organic just means that it contains carbon. Organic just means that it contains carbon. Organic just means that they say, and then the business definition of it is, we didn't grow this with pesticides. But you must know that because the Blanco has put his pesticides in all the air and all of the water, there is no place that doesn't, or there is no farmland that does not contain pesticides. Okay. So it just wasn't grown with pesticides. It doesn't mean that it's free of it. So a lot of our brothers say, I eat organic as if that's going to make you free from pesticides. It doesn't mean that. It just means that it doesn't have as many pesticides as processed foods. So that's critical for our understanding. So we don't get lost into thinking that, you can, and then plus they can buy an organic label. So don't get lost by somebody slapping an organic label on some food, right? That's crucial.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, sister.
No. I said absolutely right, brother.
Yeah, and you got to think about this critical too. It's an important book you guys need to get. It's called Fat, Sugar, and Salt. Fat, Sugar, and Salt. And this guy details the history of the food companies and stuff and how they went through. They basically got in a meeting. And this is when they switched up breakfast food. Because I'm from Michigan. I'm in Michigan right now. Michigan is home of cereal. Okay, the cereal companies, Kellogg Brothers. Now, do you know that John Kellogg, I believe that was the older brother's name, when he went overseas to Germany, his brother had went ahead and put sugar in Frosted Flakes and start calling it Frosted Flakes because he didn't want no sugar in his cereal. They knew sugar was a hormone. You see what I'm saying? And so he kicked his brother out of the company, and that's how Kellogg was able to grow. And at that time, Battle Creek, which is 30 minutes away from where I live, they had about 9,000 cereal breakfast manufacturers. No bullshit. Now the two biggest ones is Post and Kellogg, but they basically changed it up. And then this is what we have to understand. In this book, it will tell you that they actually keep certain things from schools that they will not allow your children and us to learn so that they can continue to keep manipulating the food. There is something called trade secrets where manufacturers don't have to list what makes their food so addictive on the labels. Okay. So they don't have to, list what makes a product. This is why, you don't see the secret ingredient to Coca-Cola and Pepsi on the back of the label. They tell you they got secret ingredients. It's not on the back of the label. Anything that makes a food addictive, they do not have to list on the back of the label because that is capitalism at work. It's saying that what makes my food taste so good and addictive, I don't want to list. I don't want to let my competition know. But we know it's much more nefarious than that because why? There's only a few handful of individuals that own all of these companies.
Brother, can you tell them what you told me about the oh my gosh, let's talk about real quick because since it goes together, right? The Food and Drug Administration. Why is it the Food and Drug Administration? Why do these combination of these particular departments go together? When we think about everything the brother's telling you, right? And then why do they go together? Brother, would you spill to them real quick what you told me earlier and shocked me about Coca-Cola?
Oh yeah, Coca-Cola is still legally allowed to import cocaine. Still legally allowed to import cocaine. They have one of their actual facilities in St. Louis. And many insiders have said, and then you can't put nothing past the Blanco, that this is how they would distribute the cocaine. See, they gave you the movies like American Gangster, like the character that Denzel Washington was playing, he had to fly in these planes and stuff from overseas and then hide it in these caskets. No, nothing to be further from the truth. Coca-Cola was distributing their excess cocaine out into the streets. Coca-Cola is some of the biggest drug dealers. You can go and look back at some of the documents that was unearthed during, when Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas. He was the owner of Tyson Chicken is on record. It's documented that he was selling more. He was selling that chicken and other chicken. He was selling chickens for real on both sides. One of the biggest distributors of cocaine in Arkansas was the owner of Tyson Chicken.
Are you serious, brother?
Man, I got it. Listen.
Didn't I just say the Food and Drug? See that when you said something, my mind said real quick, yeah, because that's why it's the Food and Drug Administration, because it goes together. Since you said that about the Coke, right? Thinking about that, they're all tied into the same thing because we know, like you said, now the Food and Drug Administration, if they're poisoning you, immediately you're gonna, I gotta go to the doctor. So it goes into the drug. Oh my, bro, yes, go ahead, bro. Let me.
It is. Yeah. It's thick, right? And like we talked about, the chasm that is separated between the patient and the doctor is even greater from the doctor to the chemist. Once again, the chasm or the distance between the doctor and the patient is even greater from the doctor and the chemist. The doctors practice medicine. They don't know nothing about that medicine. The chemists know everything about it. And who are these chemists? You'll never see them. You see why it's so important? That's when I knew chemistry, because when I was going through college and stuff, I was there. I ain't gonna hold you. I was there for the loans. I was like, here come this loan and get this 2 racks, get these 3 racks. I'm off and running. I'm in the streets. I'm making music.
Give me my bread. It's all mine anyway. Yeah, that part, brother.
To the Most High woke me up and said, you know why I kept? Because every time I would take classes, for some odd reason, I would check off chemistry. And I was like, I wonder why I keep getting, this chemistry stuff. And it didn't dawn on me till later. And then obviously, too, I want to make, I have 2 available. The Untold Story of the Carbon Baby. This is a book. You can get it on Amazon as well, right? But I have 2 available that I'm going to actually give to the sister so that she can make them available to you guys. So I'll send 2 to her and she can, I guess, however she decides to give them away. But yeah, we want to make sure that we get that out. So, I was so profoundly impacted by chemistry because I started to see like, this is how they built their artificial matrix. This is how the drugs and they just start to rename things, give them different names. And that was like, I said, this is the madness of it all, right? So you talk about the Food and Drug Administration, you look at Coca-Cola's history. I believe the guy's name was, I forget what his name was. When he started it, it was mostly cocaine and sugar.
And sugar, bro, I'm about to say, and the sugar. Listen, come on. It tastes, when I was a kid, I remember tasting it. Was like, it burnt my throat. That was first off. I remember when I tasted the first thing, it turned me off because it burnt my throat and it was so sweet. It was like sugar water. I'm like, oh, it was disgusting. But I'm sorry. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it was a hormone. Now, mind you, they had to figure it out. Chemically, they had to understand that how do they control this hormone? Because this is why I go out often to saying that this is one of the reasons why alcohol was outlawed first, because it was a powerful hormone. It was more powerful than just sodas. So they understood that. Now think about this. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Think about how powerful this is. It was powerful because alcohol had an impact on, it turned your endocrine system inside out, but it was the only drug that was part of that became a constitutional amendment. They outlawed it with the 18th Amendment. It is the only amendment to be repealed by the United States government by the 21st Amendment. Then alcohol was made legal by the 21st Amendment. So they love the numbers 18, 21, all this different stuff, because they made it legal in 1933. They had it outlawed for a while.
Brother, and just to touch on that for us Aboriginal, Indians, whatever you classify yourself as. Now, the ardent spirit, they had the laws for outlawing it through ardent spirit. It was called ardent spirit. This is why when you see them, it says wine and spirits. It lets you know they still got to let you know that it has spirits in it, which is a whole nother issue. I don't want to get off, but I wanted to mention that spirits being wine and spirits because of the spirit, the energy that's in it. And they know, just like the brother said, that energy is what? It's a false light, guys. You know how we talk about the radium and the rathium? That energy is just like the real energy is for us. It's a false entity. Just as why it causes this ease and everything within us. Go ahead, brother. I just wanted to say that because it definitely is. They stopped it and outlawed it because they were killing so many Indians. The liquor, they called it ardent spirits at the time, was killing so many indigenous. They had to outlaw it. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, they actually, listen, we mastered chemistry a long time ago. Remember, we said that chemistry is the study of carbon. When you put carbon and hydrogen together, you make something called hydrocarbons. You know what hydrocarbons are? Oil and gas. Oil and natural gas. Now, I did a segment on this, and this is going to tie full circle because like what we're saying is you have to, the name of the book is The Untold Story of the Carbon Baby. The Untold Story of the Carbon Baby. Now, what you have to understand is carbon, like we said, it bonds with other elements and stuff, and it makes different organisms. That's what's very important. Different organisms and metals and all of this different stuff. It is the building blocks of life. So I'm going to show you and prove to you that we had, a knowledge of these things at the godlike level. Now, everybody's familiar with Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Shouts out in the chat if you're familiar with Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now,
yes.
What do we always hear about Tulsa, Oklahoma? We hear
the bombing. No, that's the first thing they say.
Yeah, they always antagonize.
And then the reservations.
Listen, but one thing they tell us, we had doctors, lawyers. So 2 things about this, right? They said we had doctors, lawyers, dentists. We had, this thriving economy. The dollar circulated 60 times before it even left the community. They talk all this crap, but I'm thinking to myself, like, you got to remember, Tulsa was destroyed in 1920, correct? That's what they said through the riots.
That's right.
They said slavery ended in 1865. Do the math. If niggas couldn't read, how they become doctors and lawyers?
Just that dang quick, man. They must have been, look, you talking about some Superman genius around here. Yeah, bro, that part.
Yeah, obviously I cake for that. We know we that. But like you said, what's the likelihood, right? So this is the thing. One thing that they don't tell you about Tulsa, Oklahoma, this shows you that we connected to our chemistry, because remember, chemistry is a study of carbon. One of the big chief constituents of the carbon industry is hydrocarbons, which is gas, oil, and crude oil and all that different stuff, right? So do you know that Tulsa, Oklahoma was called, and this is not of the United States, Tulsa, Oklahoma's nickname was oil capital of the world. Oil capital of the world, not oil capital of the United States, oil capital of the world. Our brothers and sisters will have barrels of oil on a porch. That's how much oil was overflowing.
And you know what, brother? This is why they tried to, oh man, something you just said. Oh man, let me hush for a minute. It'll come back. I want to say something what you said.
So they knew that, like you talking about, when you talking about reparations for Tulsa, Oklahoma and all this different stuff, you can't even, there's nothing you can give, because when you're talking about oil, this is what runs. Remember, the energy sector is the largest sector on the planet. If you ain't got no energy to run your business, if the lights don't come on, the heat don't work, or the AC don't work, you're not running no business. You see what I'm saying? So, but when we go back to what we're saying, let's go back and go full circle when we're talking about this carbon and these sugars and stuff. So we knew that, just from a small example in terms of what we could do externally, that what we knew about these chemicals were that they were hormones. So when you have the sugar, when you have what they call proteins and fats, these are nothing but sugar in a different state. Because remind you, all the precursors, or precursor just means what it is before it turns into something. All the precursors to sugar, fats, and proteins, or complex carbohydrates, are something called simple sugars: glucose, fructose, and galactose. You know what I'm saying? It might be a couple other simple sugars, but when they bond with each other, then they make something called disaccharides, or two sugars. And then disaccharides make polysaccharides, or many sugars. So what's interesting is, what we have to understand is that, why do you call it sugar, and he in his labs call it polysaccharides, disaccharides, and monosaccharides? Because he knows something you don't. He knows something you don't. Just like when if you ever go to the hospital, he'll be like, hand me about a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate. You're like, oh, this Blanco sound intelligent. He ain't say nothing but baking soda. But he can't use the layman terms in the doctor's field, because he got to act like, to you, he know what he's talking about. He got to act like, to you, I'm intelligent. And then you'll be looking at this Blanco. Oh, the Blanco told me, he said 2 cups of sodium bicarbonate. You mean baking soda? Nigga, shut your dumb ass up. You don't know what you start exposing this Blanco for his pettiness. And like you said, he go off around these crystals. We don't know what we're looking at. As you showed in the video, he act like, we don't know. It's a mystery to us. No, it's not. The more he learns about crystals, have you ever understood? Think about this, brothers and sisters. Have you ever noticed that the more this Blanco learned about this earth, the angrier he gets at you? The more he learns about this earth, the angrier he gets at you.
That jealousy, whoo, is something else.
The faster he tries to eliminate you. You see what I'm saying? So this is extremely important for us to understand, is that he knows what those crystals are about. He knows why they formed. He knows that we form crystals. It's the basis of our being, of our organism. He knows all about that stuff. He's not a fool. He's not. It's because he knows those things that makes him so aggressive. It's because he knows those things that makes him such a monster. It's because he knows those things that makes him such a warmonger. So he's not ignorant. He's feigning ignorance. Okay. Leonard Peel, yeah. They knew what they was doing. The FDA knew what they was doing. Toothless organization running around like a watchdog. And you know what's so crazy is the FDA doesn't regulate supplements, these all natural supplements and stuff, because they know that's where, when you go and try to make this transition or this change, what happens is they get ahead of you. See, I swear on everything I love, sister. My sister called me earlier today, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought something was wrong. She was like, hey, Heru, she said, guess what I found? I thought she found Bigfoot or the Yeti or something. She was like, she said, I found some grapes with some seeds in them.
Amazed about some seeds, grapes, Lord.
Because we can't find them.
You ain't lying.
They don't want to give us the seeds.
Ain't that sad that you can be amazed about finding something natural? That's bro. It's absurd.
It's absurd because they are the father of the lie and confusion. Listen, this is what, like, have you ever heard of what, they say something like grains, right? Grains. We hear grains all the time. We're like, oh, grains. We think about rice and all this different stuff. Grains are not actually grains. They're seeds. You can take brown rice right now, put some water in it, put it in the dirt. A plant's going to pop out of the ground. Rice is a seed.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Fruit is the ovary of a female plant. You see what I'm saying? So you got these, even people, we do this without even knowing. You got people who, may send an emoji to their girlfriend in the form of a, eggplant, like that means a big penis size. That's the ovary of a female plant. See, this how far we are from, you know what I'm saying? Real talk though. But this how far we are from these sort of things. This what should be common knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So, but he misnames things because he calls a hormone a vitamin. He calls seeds grains. He does this on purpose.
Everything backwards. I keep telling everything is backwards, upside down, inside out, and backwards.
And should we hold him accountable for this type of deception, for this level and depth of deception? So when we know the science, so when people say, hey, Ru, you talking about blancos, you seem like you're a little bit divisive. It's not about black and white. It's about coming together. Oh, they weren't saying this when they felt like their empire was coming to an end. When nobody talking this all come together, let's be a part of a utopia sort of mess. It's only because you see yourself at the verge or the precipice of extinction. But we've been at that verge and we've been at that precipice of extinction ever since we ran into you. So ain't nothing new for us. You see what I'm saying? And Hyde says wild rice, black seed is the best. Yeah, because it's seeds. These are seeds. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, they modify these seeds. And what do they do when they modify these seeds, these grains called seeds? They take all the nutrients out of them. White rice, white flour, white this, white that, white Jesus.
Okay, listen, taking the nutrient out of Jesus. No. Putting the hook in it, bro. They take that J. That I be telling them that J. They go that hook, man. Got you. They got you hooked. They pick it right in the back of your damn head, right there. Hook your head in. Now they got your brain. You tapped in and tuned in to that frequency, man. Oh man.
Yes, it is. It is like all of this is profound because we didn't people didn't have diabetes before the 80s. It was rare. Yeah, it was rare at that time, as well as childhood cancers. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because that growth. See, the sugar's job, this is one thing you got to realize. When you take in sugar, its job is to bond with other sugars to create hormones. Even if I got to give some more scientific information just to let people know that what I'm saying is legitimate, you have obviously the adrenal glands is not a part of your endocrine system, but the adrenal glands, like the liver, like the gastrointestinal tract, and like your adipose tissue, secretes hormones. All right. One of the hormones of the adrenal glands, it comes from the adrenal cortex, and they're called mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids. They make hydrocortisone from your glucocorticoids, from your adrenal cortex or your adrenal glands. We've all heard about adrenal. I don't want to say the last one because I don't want to trigger YouTube, but that blood that they take from young people. Yes, right? Yes. You see what I'm saying?
I talk about it, bro. I sure
you
do.
Talk about it? Oh, you say
yes, sure do.
Word? Okay, I ain't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you good. Let's go.
This is made from the sugar.
This
is why, like you said, vampires, when they drink the blood, they have this like orgasmic reaction and all this because sugar is a hormone. Okay, and we know that this hormone is responsible for vitalizing what we call plasma inside the blood. 60% of our blood is plasma. And anybody knows if you ever go donate your blood, they'll give you your blood back. They want the gold called plasma. Yeah. That's what they want. That's what these beings are down here for. They here. You always heard, oh, they're down here for the gold. It just so happens
that is the gold, the liquid gold.
And it's yellowish. It's just like gold, the color of gold. But see, we thinking they digging some gold in the ground. First of all, there's no such thing as what you've seen in Hollywood. There's no gold bars. Gold does not even come out the earth like that. Gold comes out in the ore. They have to chip it off something that's it attached to because nothing on this planet just bonds with itself except carbon. This is what's so deep about carbon. Nothing can bond with itself and make a diamond like carbon can. So carbon, this is why it was used, or the godlike energy. This is what we mind, just because we named it, we still don't know what it is. But this is the godlike energy the Most High used to create this realm we see around us, because it has stable bonds, and it bonds just strong enough to make bond, to share. That's called covalent bonding in chemistry. But then it doesn't, make bonds so strong to where it won't allow itself to be released. Like, oh, I'm cool. All right, you don't want to be with me, I'm good. You want to go there, you can go there, you know. And then it's the nature of our people. We just a bond with anybody. Quick to call other nations brother, sister. We're quick to do these spiritual bonds. Okay? Because it comes from our chemical bonding nature. And this is deep. This is one of the reasons why you see black people always ready to save somebody else besides themselves. You see, because it's in our nature and they exploit that. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, they make what's called ionic bonds. That's the nature of them. When they grab something, they don't let it go. Nigga, this is mine, all mine. My ball. I'm going home. You know what I'm saying? And that's the nature of every other group. You know, they take something, snatch it, and claim it for their own. But we got to reclaim that. We got to take that back because this plasma is important. They may call it many names and stuff. We call it plasma for the most part, but it's this fluid that is made, or it is accelerated and amplified by what you call sugar, which is a crystal. Okay. And like I told you, I invite you to go take a look at vitamin D3, which they call the sunshine vitamin. It's not a vitamin. It goes into your, hits your skin and activates you so that you can take in more sun. He said, black people have selenium in their chemistry makeup, the same thing in trees and soil. We are nature. They're always trying. Oh yeah, of course. And listen, this was so deep. Okay. You secrete, your first line of defense is called your sebum. Mm-hmm. All right. Your sebum is secreted. Most of your sebum glands are in your face, your scalp, and your chest and your back. That's why when you have breakouts, that's usually where they occur, because that's where most of your sebum cells are. Now, do you know that the constitutional makeup of sebum is triglycerides, selenium, and some cholesterol, some wax esters, etc. Right? But 60% of your sebum is made of triglycerides or sugars. Okay? This is what sits at the root of your hair follicle and stuff. And then this actually coats your hair follicle, right? This sugar does to make it strong. Now, this is what's so important. That how is a plant stalk made strong? By something called cellulose. Cellulose is nothing but glucose on glucose on glucose on glucose. Makes this stalk. This is important for us to understand. This is how sugar manipulates itself. You see what I'm saying? So it becomes an oil that coats our skin. So when you see black people in the sun and they really doing their thing, they eating fruits and vegetables, you see black people glistening in the sun. They're almost crystal-like. They're almost, and white folks see that, they're like, this nigga's glowing. You know what they say? They say glistening. They don't want to say glowing, and they don't want to say you crystallizing. They just say this nigga's glistening. You ain't never seen no Blanco glisten in the sun until they make
never. They're gonna start burning. Moving that parasite right out the way. I'm sorry, but
trying
it's true.
to tell you. So we asked ourselves, we said, why ain't the Most High helping us? Do you know, according to the International Community for Scientific Research, which is an affiliate of the World Health Organization, one white person or Blanco dies from skin cancer every hour. It's called the International Agency. So the International Agency for Cancer Research, one Blanco dies every hour from skin cancer. And you thought Most High wasn't doing a job.
Okay.
You thought the Most High was just sitting back. The Most High, like, look, these Blancos trying to block me out. I'm doing my job. You get to work.
That's right.
You get out there and get to work. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know how many balls I'm juggling? I gotta grow plants food. I gotta keep the tides right. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta do this, do that. I am busy. I need y'all, the vanguards. This is why I created you, to help do the work. You know what I'm saying? Just like your children, you take care of them for a point of time, but eventually you expect for them to take care of themselves. If you come from the Most High, why are we trying to break the chain of life? How life exists? You eventually get to a point where you're supposed to take care of yourself, defend yourself, and defend the others around you.
That's right.
Most High ain't changed nothing. So that is, those things are extremely important. It's just fascinating to me how all those things go over our head. Like we act like we waiting on somebody. Most High doing the work now. While you're waiting, they're acting. You see what I'm saying? While you're waiting, they're acting. So it's important that every measure we take is an act of war, brothers and sisters. Every measure we take is an act of war. So when you go to the grocery store and you look at all of those drugs that are in the grocery store in those aisles, and even the organic and all that different stuff, mind you that this is an act of war that you're working against yourself, fighting against yourself and your family, or you're fighting for them. Now, granted, a lot of us cannot make absolute changes immediately, right? So one of the things that we can do is that some of our children are so hooked on these things, we have to gradually wean them off. But you, on the other hand, as an adult, you can make those tough decisions. That's why it's so important to recognize that you have to lean on your experience, because you can make those decisions. You see what I'm saying? This is tough, but we can make those decisions. Almost reminded me, I was watching this documentary where it was this dude, he was on diabetic medication, and his medication was taking up 40% of their income, right? And then, so the woman was like, what can we do? You know, he has his diabetic medication. He has to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I can't feed this. So they're feeding children. They're going to fast food restaurants because they don't have time to cook and they can't afford all of the good stuff to eat.
Right.
So 40% of his income is going towards, and on average, that is the average of the income for most Americans in terms of them taking care of themselves just so that they can be slaves. So it was amazing to me that the guy didn't say, you know what, I'm gonna change up my diet because 40% or half of my income is not going to go to my medication while my children suffer, become obese, and become, you know, susceptible to cancers and all that just because I have to take care. That's ridiculous shit. So I knew it was days when I knew that in order for me to be able to take care of my son, for him to live the life that I knew that I needed him to live and to become and actualize himself as the God that I know he's going to become, I had to make sacrifices on my own. And it became easy because he was my motivation. It became easy. I look at him sleep. I'm like, oh, easy work. Because I call him my chunk monk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's when you got them cheeks and stuff. It's like, no, it's easy. I would see him sleep. And when he sleep, he always try to put his arm around daddy because he would never sleep but unless he put his arm around me. I said, oh, this easy work. You know what I'm saying? And all I had to do was find out more of the information that I knew would help to transform me. And in instituting that would be child's play. Because once you come into the realization of what you are, not who you are, it's essentially child's play. This is why every measure that these blancos take, it is a measure of it, you know, of extermination, to exterminate. Because if we wasn't doing what we was doing, we would be at the brink of death right now, right? I'm telling you, if we kept on in our ignorance, we would be just, like I said, you have one foot on the banana peel and one in the grave. You see?
That's truly slipping. Okay.
So that's what's so important about those things. I actually, said once you grow at least 20% of your diet, the food and such on. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly true. That's exactly right. A lot of those is, you know, that food is a, not to mention that, I mean, you know, the seeds are genetically modified. So you're not getting what you want any damn way.
That's right.
Right. It's genetically modified. They know about, like we said, the only people who are going to be able to tap in. But see, this is what's so important about you, because we talked about this. They know, Dr. Drew Pookrum has spoken about this. Dr. Deborah Blair has spoken about this, is that we don't need as many nutrients as they need in order for our organism to operate. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And they'll showcase this to you when you look at your nutritional requirements, right? If you do a consultation with a nutritionist, they'll more than likely do something called a dietary analysis. And what they'll do is they'll give you a week of paper, and then, you know, you'll eat what you know, write down what you've eaten for a week or so, and then they'll send it through a machine. And what they'll do is they'll assess, and the machine will pop out what you've got, and you know what you short in and all that different stuff. But when we did this experiment in class in college, everybody in the class was over in one area, and that was sodium. Now, the Blancos will tell you when you look this up is that African Americans or Black people only need about 600 milligrams of sodium to operate their bodies. Mm-hmm. This is a slice of bread. It's 600 milligrams of sodium. Who's gonna eat a slice of bread a day amongst all the other stuff you eat? You see what I'm saying? So they let you know you don't need as many nutrients as we do, but they'll only tell you that when you begin to think that you are the weaker vessel. Notice every time you hear anything about Black people's health, we're always at the height of something. Oh, Black people are at the height of osteoporosis, hypertension, diabetes. I don't know how we're gonna save these niggas. Like it's income. Like even when, you know, the jab came out, right, or the pandemic, they was like, how do we save these niggas? Nigga, you ain't never been concerned about us. Now all of a sudden, your main priority is how do we save you guys, because you're the ones most at risk. Look at your bodies. I mean, you know, look, yeah. You're struggling out here.
But real quick on what the sister said, she said it's not the soil, the seeds. Well, sis, to be honest, honey, it is the soil. The soil has been altered. The soil has been changed to a different pH balance. It's more on a masculine energy in the soil that they're putting out. They literally put out and have planted nitrogen trees. This is what they're composed of, trying to change everything to alter. And like the brother said, everything on the chemical balance and standpoint is us, right? It's a study of us, our nature, everything with us, wanting to get to the scale that we are. So all these things the brother's talking about, all these false things, and these the fake nutrients, the fake proteins, all these things you need, nutrients, you need this protein, you need this, all this stuff that's chemicals that are not actually for you, right? These are created for these other people. It's not created for you. We have the natural enhancement of all of these things. So what happens is they create these things for them so that they can use them to try to help healing them. Remember when I showed you guys the incubator babies, literally the test tube babies, how they created half of these people. Half of these people may even believe that they came from a true womb, and they did not. This is why they have all these different things coming out, because it's all false light. It all goes back to the radium. So now there's the false light, which is all being put in these compounds, what the brother is talking about, these different crystal lights that they're creating, because they are false lights to put into a system to help orchestrate for a falsity of light, true light, the GMO us, literally. I'm sorry, brother, but man,
Oh, no. And one book that indigenous woman can get is called The Journeys of Trees. The Journey. Oh, it's a fascinating book. It's a must read, must have in your library. I live in Michigan, obviously. One of the things that it talks about is with trees. First of all, a lot of our trees are dying. We had what was called the ash tree here. The ash tree also was dying by the thousands. They were trying to save it. They were trying to put it in different areas, bring them down to Florida, bring them over. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing happens is that when human beings move, they bring other species, trees, birds, animals with them. If you notice, like even in the lakes, they brought this in Michigan lakes, we have this fish that's from over there in China and stuff, and they've multiplied out of control. And matter of fact, so much so that they were even considering reversing the way that the lake runs just to get them out. And they have this barrier where it's electric, and it kills them before they can get into Lake Michigan or these other lakes. This is what the Army Engineer Corps, the Army Corps of Engineers has to do in order to keep this organism from going wild. But it was called the gypsum moth. This gypsum moth was eating away at trees and stuff. So if you notice, honestly, look at trees, you'll see the bark coming off.
Yeah.
A lot of these trees are actually dying, because this is what's deep. Let's go deep right quick. Because you have to know that trees participate in sexual energy. Okay, how do we know this? Trees release something called pollen. Now, one of the things we got to understand, pollen is tree semen. It's the equivalent of semen. That's what pollen is. And do you know pollen semen is so potent that they have actually unearthed pollen semen from ice, and it's just as strong as the pollen from trees that emit pollen a day? So we know that the birds, the bees, ants, all these different things, they actually participate in this grand sexual energy called the birds. You ever heard these white blancos tell you to teach your kids about the birds and the bees? Why do they use this? Because that's what birds and bees do. They go pollinate or activate themselves in the sexual energy within plants. This is deep stuff. So when you get most of these blancos that now we're allergic, so when they tell you to go outside and breathe, more than likely, notice what the blanco will do. He will show you the pollen content in the air, or the sexual energy from Mother Earth in the air. And most blancos were allergic to Mother Earth's natural sexual energy. Oh, pollen, too much pollen. I got
allergies.
What? So when you got the false crystals in your body, you become allergic to Mother Earth's natural sexual energy. This is deep. So all of these animals, the insects, mind you, and what are they doing? Notice, tell me if I'm false, tell me if I'm lying. Notice that one of the biggest pollinators is going extinct. You think that ain't by design? The bees are damn near extinct. And it's what
trying to kill them, brother. They had a thing about 2 years ago talking about it. I remember.
Yes. They're saying that, oh, well, We don't know what it is. It's the lines, it's the magnet. You know exactly what it is. You're using the Earth's plasma, the ionosphere, to throw off the bees' courses, just like you're doing it under in the ocean. That's why you have a lot of beaching on animals, whales and dolphins and things like that. Okay. So this is one thing that's critically important, is that they are disturbing. Everything is sexual energy. Everything is sexual energy. It's just whether or not you realize it, that this is the very energy that they've always been against, that they've always told you. Notice in every facet, whether it be our behavior, oh, you're dancing and your music is it's all crazy, it's all wild, or whether it's been just us reproducing. Oh, it's too many niggas on the planet, overpopulation, it's just too many of you niggas. But yet, while they're saying that to us, they're talking about it ain't enough for them. So we already know what the language is, right? But they, side note, sidebar right quick. Do you know when they was making their warships, when they were building their navies in the 1800s and 1900s, it took 30,000 trees to make one of their ships? Do you know that the sequoias that you see over in California, you're only looking at 3% that's left? They cut down 97% of those huge trees. And you know where those huge trees are at? In the white man's buildings. Those skyscrapers, all that, those are living trees now in the form of his buildings to hide from the sun. See, you thought this Blanco could be in the sun. He hides every chance he can get.
Every moment.
Every chance he can get. Because you didn't know that concrete absorbs the sun because it's carbon. His houses absorb the sun. Then he hides in the car and then puts tinted windows on glass that already absorbs the sun. They call them sunglasses. Then runs around with this idea saying, oh, I got to protect myself from the sun. I got to block the sun out. Sun block. Block it. So very, very important video. Oh, man, I wish we could pull that up, but it's called
I can pull it up. Is it on YouTube, bro?
Yep. It's called How the Sun Sees You. Pull that video up, brother.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I love that. Okay, yes. Let's pull it up for those who have not seen that. Yes. Let's get to that. I still have the YouTube up. Okay. Let me see. How the Sun Sees You. This is a phenomenal video,
isn't it? And I want to show you something deep in this video. It's the one that's got like 9 million hits, right? That one, because it has something very key in there. I want people to show. Well, I think it's in both the videos, but yeah.
Okay, let me find it real quick. Then this one is probably an older one. This one that's got 10 million views, and this one with 120,000 views, bro.
Yeah, the one with 10 million is the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Pause it. All right. Yeah, this is crazy. Just pouring on the melanin, the fake melanin at that. Oh my goodness.
Right.
All right, here we go. You want me to just play it now, bro, or go to a certain minute?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's only 5 minutes. Want to just play the whole thing?
Yeah. Just play the whole thing.
Okay.
That's wild. Look at that. These days, skincare and cosmetics companies are packing SPF into a variety of their products. We're talking lotions, sticks, powders, sprays. It's extensive. And while these products have been tested in the lab to make sure they actually deliver the SPF on the packaging, they don't always tell you how much you need to apply. Like, they tell you to apply liberally, but what does that actually mean? And does it matter if I use a stick or a lotion or a spray? So today, I'm going to perform a not totally scientific test of some broad spectrum sunscreens using the TV camera. While this camera isn't a perfect measure of UV protection, it'll be able to show whether I get an even application or not. Most of the products that I'll be using are what are commonly called chemical sunscreens.
Okay, pause this, sister, right quick. Pause
this. Carbobenzo and octinoxate that absorb UV rays to stop them.
Okay, so this one isn't the 100,000 one might be the one because I want to show the sun as it hits glasses and stuff too. But yeah, that's let's see. Because I thought it was going because it's when the scientists walk around with, I believe it's, let's see, right there, the top one, How the Sun Sees You. That's the one. So sorry about that, brothers and sisters, but this is one we want to see right here.
I won't live up to any expectations. What you see is what you get. And worse yet, I can give an
Okay, pause, sister, pause.
explanation for why it's gray on your side.
Okay, first we saw the first Blanco's reaction. She didn't even want to look at herself when she saw herself under UV, how the sun was seeing her. She was ashamed of herself. Notice how, remember in the Bible, in the garden said that these people, they're telling a story, giving you bits and pieces. How they said they were ashamed of their nakedness. You see what I'm saying? Because this is, we created them. We know we created them. Because see, they say it even in their science. They say, oh, in science, we come from the black man. We came out of Africa. We just migrated. So even in their science, they say it. And then they'll also say that we were the first people, all this different stuff. Moors will say that they taught these Blancos how to bathe and bath. No matter how you cut, slice, and dice it, black people are already acknowledging that we created white folks. We're already acknowledging it. I don't care if you're with it or for it, but against it or for it, that's what we're saying. So,
and on the Egyptian walls, it was written that they said that the Tamahu were created. They said they created them. Mm-hmm. Period. It's so no question.
Thank you. You got to know that the individual hiding behind that veil or the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain is somebody that looks just like us. It's somebody that looks just like us. Okay, so if you go
brother, just so you know the nickname around here, if you see it, no, we call it the black natives. That's who they are.
Oh,
they're the black
okay, all right, okay, no doubt. Go a little bit earlier when I see it was the girl with the glasses. I want to show y'all something very, very important. This is very important. The girl had the glass. Okay, yeah, her. She puts the glasses on, and when she puts the glasses on, I want you to see what the glasses look like under UV light. Light.
What you see is what you get, and worse yet, I can give an explanation for why it's gray on your side.
Okay, why they just skip? It's like
better yet, I'll give you an indication for why you're feeling deprived. We'll never let lack of an imagination.
Okay, glass. Okay, right there.
Even when the sun has died, somehow in the sun has died.
Okay,
somehow in the city, somewhere in the city. Somehow in the city.
Okay, then when you, I think, let it go, because I think it's gonna say that glasses block UV. So I think that's important.
Somehow in the city, somewhere in the city. We'll never let lack of an imagination keep us locked up inside, even when the sun is dark.
Okay. All right, pause right there. Now, so glasses, notice what they said. Glasses block UV. Now, we know it's not blocking it. It has absorbed that. Now, this is one thing you got to understand from just seeing this. This is visual confirmation. When I get into it with people, they talk about blackness, right? I always say blackness from a metaphysical standpoint. You get into a discussion, people are like, oh, nigga, I ain't black. That's in the Black Laws Dictionary. That shit mean that you ain't nothing and blah, blah. Crack, the Blanco don't see you as nothing anyways. As you can see, the glass absorbs the sun. Now, we know what glasses look like. They look clear to us. But how the when the glasses absorb that sun, they said it blocks the light. Now you just seen the color of light. What's the color of light? They tell you all colors come from black. So you got to understand at a metaphysical level that light is actually darkness. This is deep stuff. They're showing you right there that light is actually darkness. It just showed you how glasses. Now let's go back just for 1 odd second. Remember I told you about that vertical column in the periodic table of elements. Carbon, silica, germanium. Carbon, silica. Right under us is something called silica. Now, when silica bonds with oxygen, it makes something called silicon dioxide. Now, you ain't got to remember all of these terms, but silicon dioxide is sand, brothers and sisters. That's what silicon. This is why you hear the Blanco talk about Silicon Valley. Microchips are sand. Once again, because we don't know how life is manipulated, we just walking around the beach, twiddling our toes in the sand. The Blanco's picking it up and making microchips out the shit. This is deep shit. So you see why the hourglass has dual symbolism, because an hourglass is made out of sand and it has sand in it. Okay, so you see that these glasses block UV, according to the Blanco, but it's absorbing the light. Now, mind you, this is another thing that's deep. These Blancos got regular glasses. We see even the glass that are that's in our cars or whatever, for our driver's side doors, windshields, in the back and everything like that. Now we see what in the UV camera, if the sun hit all that glass, it'd be complete. It's absorbing that sun. These Blancos can't be in the sun so much, they add a tint on that. This is one of the reasons why if you ever get pulled over by the police and they be like, why you got tinted windows? Because technically speaking, you're supposed to have a prescription for tinted windows. Because the Blancos, no, this is why you'll see a white person ride by and tinted with tinted. You're like, man, they got tinted windows. Why didn't they stop them? Because the Blanco knows you don't need that shit. Nigga, where's your prescription for these tinted windows? So yeah, we can let the video continue.
Summer in the city, summer in the city.
Hold on, now pause. You see them Blancos laughing? They ain't laughing. They mad. Because every Blanco know about blackface. Every Blanco knows what blackface is. So when they was out here doing blackface, look at them laughing. Say, oh my God, I'm putting on blackface. That's needed. You cannot go without knowing that. It's like it lives in them. Remember, we live in ain't no black person homeless in America. We live rent-free in these Blancos' minds. There is no such thing as a homeless black person. We live rent-free in these crackers' minds. So you already know that if this Blanco running around slathering this stuff on their face and see through the UV camera, because the way we see it, look at the right side of your screen. The way we look at them, we don't see them putting on blackface. But the sun sees they're an imitation being. The sun looks at them and says, oh, you an imitation.
Talk about it.
You an imitation. I'm about to burn you up. That's why the Blanco in the previous video say, oh, they don't tell you how much to lather up. They don't tell you what to do, how long to put it on. Imagine a life where before you go outside, you got to lather up and put on a fake skin just to be out there. And you think that when they do this every day, that they ain't feeling some type of way about you? Nigga, you just wake up and go out there and glisten. The only thing you worried about is the problems they created for you in the artificial matrix. The only thing you're worrying about is the problems they created for you in the artificial matrix. Now imagine what your life would be like without Blancos in power. Charging you for things Mother Earth said you can have for free. Once you got here, as long as you made it out the womb, Most High said everything is free. The fruit's falling off the trees. When you pick a fruit from a tree, the tree don't say, oh, that'd be $3.
Man, the fruit used to be so everywhere, brother. I read a book, one of the books we read one time, right? It was talking about how the fruits and the vines were so beautiful and just hanging in the fruit, just laying all, you just walk down and just like pick it up. Yeah. Big old 2 hands to pick it up, like that type of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've seen fruit so big. And like we said, they went through a concerted effort to give us certain types of fruits. The apples, the orange, they all look the same. They're uniform. Do you know New York has a park or an apple orchard, thousands of different apples, thousands of different varieties.
Yes, brother.
You see what I'm saying?
We talked about that. They used to come up there and have those people coming from out of town just so they would be able to, pick the fruits and get paid for doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, like we said before, they get this illusion because see, the important thing is that one of the things that they had to do was, have it fit the narrative. Because if you show that fruit was just falling off the trees, one of the things that it does is it attacks the narrative of being nomadic. Man had to run around and follow the animals because that's how he was eating. No, bitch, the fruit was dropping from the trees. These plants been here before us. Even the biblical creation tells you that. You was put in a garden. Most High, the plants was here first, baby. They were here first. So if they were here first, marijuana, all these different plants, the cocoa plant, all these different plants were here, and they were doing their thing. They just were growing wild, as they call it. Agriculture is more or less about giving, picking and choosing what it is that you want, mixing and matching. That has nothing to do with how things naturally grow down. Because if man was to just, like we said, if you wasn't gonna mow your lawn, or if you wasn't gonna do this, that, and the other, nature will grow wild.
That's right.
And you notice that the Blanco don't like nature going wild. Mow that fucking lawn or you get a fine. And we got so used to not letting Mother Nature grow wild. We like, yeah, man, my grass about 10 feet tall.
Because they do. Because brother, remember, keep in mind, because the city, right? I used to get noticed. If one time I was doing something and it was just a lot going on, so I didn't get the grass taken care of, right? Because I have like somebody cut it or whatever. I didn't think much about it. These people gonna put a notice on my door. You gonna find me about my grass?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's why. That's why people cut it, brother.
Yeah. I know that too. Yeah, I understand. But I said, like, most of us have gotten to this point where, we take pride in doing it now because it's all about conditioning. Like you said, most of us would, in my opinion, man, I used to live on the street, on Charles Street, and, growing up, and my mom had this big backyard. And I remember it just being so, like, it was like, we used to play it. It had a couple trees and stuff like that. We would hide under the, because the grass would grow tall and stuff like that. And it just was a connection to nature. Yeah. That was, that now we don't see a lot of our children, like you said, having the ability to do. But it is this restructuring. It is the engineering of this planet so that it's hospitable for their existence. This is called geoengineering. This is what they're doing. And they're excelling at it. Because one, Black people sitting up here fighting over what? Oh, politics, Democrats, Republicans, and we need reparations. They're destroying your earth. And shouts out to the sister again when she was talking about those things, the one who I encouraged to get the book, The Journeys of Trees. Also note that European scientists are articulating this day and age as the 6th wave of extinction. The 6th wave. They have collectively come together and said, you know what? We're going to go extinct this age. Why would you want somebody in power like that?
Trying to put that manifestation out there. Somebody should have slapped them right in the damn mouth. I'm sorry, brother.
Oh no, it's all good because we know we about to do what we do. This has already been written. This has already been written, and they know that. That's why they're accelerating it. You see what I'm saying? Because when you can manipulate the ionosphere, remember we're talking about the speed of light. That's right. This is just one aspect of the electromagnetic spectrum. What they were looking at was something called the UV camera, right? But you have something called the electromagnetic spectrum, which is emitted by our sun. And that's radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, UV. Gamma rays, X-rays, right, UV. So what it does, at the bottom of the spectrum, you have radio waves. Then you have microwaves. So as you go up the spectrum, you increase in high charged particles. When they're at the bottom, like radio waves and microwaves, they're waves. That's why they call them waves, microwaves, radio waves, because they look like waves. So what the Blanco did was understand that when he shot a wave at the ionosphere, it would travel at the speed of light and get to another location. We got to understand the same thing that we use to cook our food in microwaves for some of us who are, still on that path. When you want microwaves is the same waves that they use for your cell phones. The same technology. You see what, and this is extremely important for us to understand. They're manipulating the electromagnetic spectrum by the sun, and this is how they come up with their technology. This is why they used to always tell you, if it's a solar flare, it can knock out the technology, because all the technology is coming from the sun. Radio waves, all that. This is how we get our transmissions. So we have to be extremely careful with these entities, because we have already been colonized by aliens. You see what I'm saying? That we created. But we must understand, and I don't mean to keep going on, but I got to get this point across, our brothers and sisters. We always have to understand that the motif that is in narratives of mythical gods has always been a god that has created something and it came back to kill him. Remember, Kronos was scared of his sons, so he swallowed them and ate them. Zeus and all of them then destroyed the Titans. That's how they became gods. If you notice, man creates machine. He has all these movies like Terminator where what he created comes and kills him. God is being created by God is being destroyed by what he has created. You see what I'm saying? God created the devil, and now he got to come fight the devil because he has to fight what he created. You see what I'm saying? So this, like, you take a look at Mary Shelley's book, Frankenstein. This dude creates this creature, Frankenstein, and Frankenstein kills him. This is the motif of energy, because energy is nothing but a collection of everything before it. So just by how the logical evaluation of what we're talking about, logically evaluating it, we know that basically makes it more powerful than what has created it. This is why, even if in basic creation, when your mother and father come together and take care of you, you're at a weak state. They take care of you until you're at a strong state. And then eventually you're in a position to take care of them. You're stronger than what has created you. And that's where the fear has arisen. We created the Blanco, so we can't be mad that now what we have created is now trying to take down the gods that created them. That's what you need to know. So yeah, this video about how the sun sees you, it puts it, I can't say enough that that Blancos have taken a look at this video and it jumps out at them. So when you start seeing them rant and rave about, we can take the video down now, sister, if you want to. When you start seeing them ranting and raving about,
you said take it down. I'm sorry, brother. You said stop it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying we can stop it if you want to. That I wanted to show those very important parts. But yeah, this is, we can't get mad when we see Blancos in blackface. They're only acting out because they're mad that this is what they have to do every day. And if they knew that this is what they had to do every day, then they probably would be less likely to exploit the fact that this is how they have to survive. And they're making fun of themselves. We think they're making fun of us. They always walking around as artificials. They are artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence cannot be greater than natural intelligence. Haven't you ever stopped to think about that? This Blanco sit up here and get you like robots. They act human. I ain't create a robot to act human. Why is you so impressed with robots acting human? I thought they supposed to be greater than human beings. What's the whole point of me creating a robot just for it to act human? Have you thought about that? So we get so amazed. We see a robot on TV, or on YouTube or something like that. Like, look, it's talking. We get scared. It looks intelligent. Because it's mimicking you.
Brother, it was a sister had posted a video. She was at like a swimming pool with her daughters or whatever, right? It was a sister. And the lifeguard was, how they have the little chairs they're sitting on? This was a crazy video. Now, this lady, she was like, She was like, this is a robot. So she started recording the lady, right? And man, I wish I had the video to pull it up. It was acting, it was like moving weird. And then she looked at her, she turned her neck a funny way. She looked at her, she's like, why are you doing that? Now somebody has said, I can remember, like, if you're a lifeguard, right? They have to be able to scan, to look to make sure somebody drowning, they can see. So they look a certain way, like they might be scanning it. So they'll go up, down, like it's a certain way. So it kind of looked like the girl was doing that. But in the same sense with what you're saying, the lady said, this a robot. It was so weird. So for you to say that, people are literally seeing people that they think are robots.
Oh, yeah, because they are. The greatest test is to put them out in society. That's your greatest test. Remember, to conduct an experiment, it's all about how it actually is in with the stimuli around it, because that's how its intelligence is going to grow. It has to interact. That's how our intelligence grows. You can't have a baby locked up in a room with nobody talking to it and everything, expected to come out being intelligent. That's that whole raised by wolves phenomenon. You can't expect something. You seen how Tarzan is. He start grunting and shit. He didn't, you're not growing up intelligent if you raised by apes and shit. So it's the same thing. Like it's the same shit they had to do, right? They understood that in order for this AI to evolve, they call it sentient technology. Even Google, people who work for Google, this one guy was fired with saying that the AI technology for Google is sentient. It's thinking, it's just about all the information that it has, right? And it's just making decisions on its own. It's a sentient being technically, but not in our sense, right? So this is, we wouldn't believe it because we get so used to associating our experiences, if they are outside of our awareness, to something we've seen in movies. Oh man, it was just like out of a movie. No, this is truth is stranger than fiction. And one thing you got to know about these crackers is life will imitate art until art is able to imitate life. And that's one thing that we have to understand is critical. And this is what they're doing. That's why they're pushing through with these movies and entertainment and all that different stuff, because they're conditioning you for it. They're light years ahead in terms of actually, experimenting with these things. It's probably whole families of synthetics and artificials. Whole families. already out there. And then we see something on the news and going crazy, like, oh man, that person went crazy. I wonder what was wrong. What could they have been thinking? Probably wasn't human to begin with.
Absolutely, brother. I wanted to show you this. Mama Chief, she's in the chat actually. She called me and she was telling me about how what you would choose. Like, oh my gosh, I've been studying on this because she said I can't wait till you and the brother do this build, on the stuff, because she told me something she found, which is the Pepsid. Hold on, let me get my notes because I want to say it right. It's called Pepsid. And it's actually the artificial crystallized protein. So you know how we say all this stuff is synthetic and is made literally for them. Well, I say it's made for them. But you was just saying how it's synthetic and they make all these things from everything because we know it's the derivative, it's the backside or whatever. They literally have us thinking like everything that's in us. That's why I say it's them. They make this stuff for them. They don't make it for us. But when she was showing me this, I'm thinking like, what the hell? What the holy demonic hell? Now listen to this, brother. Mm-hmm. The protein is crystallized. Now she told me that it was in 1936 that it was created in the belly of a pig. From the belly of pigs, brother. They literally use the fat belly of pigs to make artificial protein. You looking on the back of these packages, it'll say, oh, it's got so much amount of protein. The protein they're talking about is literally the pig gut. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The protein, and it comes into crystallization. So now when she told me that, I was trying to hurry up, find something on it. This is the article I found on it. And it shows the perspective goes way back to 1814, brother. Look at this shit right here.
Oh yeah. Because it's synonymous with them running into Egypt and understanding about chemistry. You have Napoleon going into Africa. Now, look, if you go at that page right there, it says biocrystallogenesis aims to provide efficient methods for crystal fabrication, and it means to optimize crystal quality for X-ray crystallography. Didn't we just say this? Yep. What did I say? That
yes.
James Watson and Francis Crick, the discoverers of the DNA molecule. She sent them a picture that was used by X-ray crystallography, which is the study of how crystals form. I just talked about this.
This is what I'm saying, brother. You just said it, right? I'm thinking like, oh my God. When she called because of when she seen that you were coming on here, she seen the other video I played of your video, right? Right. So she was like, oh my God, sister, the crystal stuff. So this is when she told me about it. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that, or rather understanding that. So when you said that, I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same article that I found on the stuff Mama Chief was talking about. And sure enough, the same exact thing. So proving what I always say is that they don't make this stuff for us, brother. They make it for them. Because when I did a build on the incubator in Cabbage Patch Kids, right, and it shows them creating them in these test tubes in these incubators, literally showing them being created with nitrogen, radium. Radium is the false light, which is this crystal stuff that you're talking about right now. So what happens is they're putting this stuff out and they're telling you need this, you need that. It's not really for us. It's for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same reason why they experiment on white mice. You ain't gonna see no white mouse in nature. You're not gonna see. They have to experiment on, and then like you said, even when we go to the like you said, the incubation in the pigs, and you notice that it was in the fat. What do we establish fat is? Fat is nothing but sugar. Sugar is nothing but crystals. Yep. Remember, I told you crystals bond with crystals. So they have to put it in an incubator where the crystals can bond and continue to keep making these bonds, and then obviously you can get these organisms. Excellent.
And this is why they have it. I'm sorry, brother, too. To add on, this is why they have it in the DNA, right? And they'll say, oh, they got rat in them, they got pig in them, they have monkey in them. This is because of these different so-called proteins and organisms they use in these test tubes and incubated to create them. So of course they're going to have the DNA from what they're created from. It's only common sense.
Yeah, but then. And listen, like we said, saying different things to different people about the same thing. Notice what the first two words is, and it's under the heading abstract: protein crystallization. Well, we already know that the precursor to protein is a sugar. So they want to say sugar crystallization, but they want to take you away from crystals and stuff. But then this Blanco in the same breath will sit up there and sell you some table sugar and say crystal sugar. And we know, crystal sugar, I need to get some sugar. It's right in front of your face. It's the manipulation of sugar or crystals all the way around. Yeah. But if you notice, look at our people, especially with religion. First thing we want to say when we see somebody with some crystals, you all into that voodoo mat. Well, God must have been into all of this stuff too, because that's how the Most High, put us together. You see what I'm saying? But
exactly.
we're estranging ourselves from what we are made of. And this Blanco, while we sit up here afraid of all of this stuff and relegating it to spookism and black magic and all of this different stuff, the Blancos sitting up there in their labs and they're doing what they do best. You know what I'm saying? Artificially engineering and
yeah,
you know, biological organisms, or what I like to call, synthetics, you know, or organic, you know, synthetic organic metallic beings in order to make it hospitable, because they got to figure out how to get around the sun, right? So if you can make the metals necessary, you know, not have to really rely on the skin to get what you need in terms of nutrients and get that from what you create on the inside of yourself, they can run around as a vampire in sunlight. They can be a day walker, if you want to call it that. This is deep.
Here you go, bro. Look at this.
Okay.
Look at this. Learn more about the health benefits of pork. Health, one of the disgustingest, worst things in life. And they talking about the health benefits of pork. Look, pork nutrition, the protein. Here you go, brother. In the pork. I just want them to see that based off what you were saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And listen, ain't nobody got to tell you that a pig is mostly fat. So where's the protein come from? We know that in order for it to become a protein, it has to come from a sugar. The pig ain't nothing but fat. I ain't never seen the pig and be like, oh, you know, that look like a muscular pig right there. You know, like, you know, like how I'm gonna get or build muscle from something that's all fat. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
But they have to remember, this is what's so deep. Remember, I told you all the animals that are the most strongest animals on this planet eat plants. The horse, the elephant can run 30 to 40 miles an hour. You think the elephant fat? I ain't never seen a fat person run 30, 40 miles an hour. That's that you'll break Olympic records.
For real.
You see what I'm saying?
Truly.
You know, the elephant can push over a car 2-3 tons. Just push a truck out the way, push a car out the way. This is a being that only eats plants. But yet the lion, who is seen as the king of the jungle, even though lions don't live in jungles, they'll sit up there and say that this is the king, right? And they got to eat, and then they sleep for 10, 12 hours out the damn day. That ain't no king. You see what I'm saying? And we all know what a horse does. The horse make men envy it. You know what I'm saying? So the horse is telling you, you know how I get this big, right? Because I eat nothing but plants. I eat plant sugar, plant crystals. Because I told
beautiful shiny coats.
Man, them coats, the horsehair, all that different stuff, man. Nature is literally letting you know where the secret is at. Literally letting you know where the secret is at, where the power is at.
That's right.
But they've turned us into carnivores. You see what I'm saying? Because they need the blood. They tell you that the difference is that they want the iron in the blood. You know what's so deep? It's a video on YouTube called The Secrets of Heem. They tell you how that Impossible Whopper burger was made, the Burger King Impossible Whopper.
Yes, brother.
They said the secret is in Heem. Now, because we're not scientifically inclined, Heem is an organic ring. Heem is an organic ring. We know it better as hemoglobin in our blood. Heem is an organic ring. Globin is the protein. So Heem's responsibility is to capture light. It's to capture light. Now, Heem iron is in animals and non-Heem iron is in plants. Well, plants don't need this light, this Heem ring to capture light because they have something called chlorophyll, which captures the light for them. So that's why they don't need it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As plants eat, these animals eat the plants, they eat in the captured light, so they need something to store the light in called Heem. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So one thing that they did was they took the blood or the light blood, you know, or that light crystal and put it in the Impossible Whopper and said, oh, this is how we make it taste like beef. We put blood in it.
Makes me want to vomit.
Come on, man.
Like literally, I be telling them all the time, brother, about this meat. Oh my gosh. The meat is it's the worst thing. It literally depletes the acid, the natural amino acids in your brain. You need like 64 amino acids. It depletes like 50 of them. As soon as you eat some meat, it take it away. Yeah. So now you're all anxious. Your dissonance is off. You're screaming and hollering at your mate. You might slap her because you're a nut job. All of this is happening because you eat meat. Believe it or not, just because you eat meat.
Listen, me and Obi was making a joke about this. We said, you see all them fights that take place at McDonald's and Burger King and all these trash restaurants?
Brother.
Have you ever seen a fight take place at an organic food market?
Never.
It's not the energy. It's not the energy. I see you go Waffle House, Denny's, Burger King, make the people getting shot and killed and fights going place. They like, oh, I want my adulterated GMO hamburger now, miss. I know it take 2 minutes to make. You shouldn't even want a burger done in 2 minutes. But it's
disgusting,
this is the sickness of our people. You have a person driving through a McDonald's drive-through in $100,000 vehicle, yet putting trash in their bodies.
Mm-hmm. We always be the what you call it, brother, the test subjects. When you said that about the fight, made me think about the Popeyes when they put those sandwiches out. I said, I don't want that shit. It was I said they did something. I was like, I know what it is. It was that clone meat, because remember they've been giving the clone meat for years. So when they did that Popeyes chicken sandwich, they wanted to see if people would know that it was not real meat, brother. This is what my mind told me. I can't prove this, but this is what I feel.
Look, listen, sis. Where you think it was a test. Where you think all of the dogs when they euthanize them and put them down? Where you think all the cats and dogs are going? Yeah. They put come on.
Jeez.
And you wonder why you know our children are aggressive?
Yep.
You are what you eat. Literally, they know it because you're going to break down. That stuff has genetic information in it. It's going to tell your cells to develop hormones to act a particular type of way. That's the whole purpose of the endocrine system. Right? That's the whole purpose of the endocrine system. We told you what the endocrine system was. You got your hypothalamus, you got your pituitary gland, your pineal gland, your thyroid, your parathyroid, you have your pancreas, your ovaries if you're a female, your testes if you're a male. And this is what is the system that coordinates all of your activity in terms of communicating within itself. So when the brain starts to say, okay, the brain sends out its signals through the spinal cord, neurotransmitters, and like, okay, what are you organs doing? What do we need? Feedback, this, that, and the other. And the brain starts to send out all these signals and be like, the body's like, well, we ain't getting no signals. And I'm gonna let you know the signals that we did get. Okay. It's telling us to do this. And so you will start seeing our children act out, people act out, like, I didn't know what was going on. I don't remember. Sometimes we're like, that person knew what they was doing. Most cases, they probably didn't. This is how powerful these hormones are. You see what I'm saying? Like you said, we become the test subjects for all of this stuff. They put it, it's kind of like that was in that movie, they cloned Tyrone. He's like, man, there's something in this chicken.
Told it that thing show everything, bro. The experiment, how they be experimenting on us. That all of that was they made a joke out of it, but all that's true. All these 88,000 children that go missing each and every year. Yeah, they doing that shit just like they were showing in that show, in that movie.
Oh yeah, no doubt, undoubtedly. And you know
crazy.
What's so crazy is they also showed you the big thing in that movie, which was that it was a black scientist behind it all.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? It was a black scientist behind it all.
Yep.
Exactly. Creating a hospitable environment, trying to get these blancos in a position to where that they can take over. It's also was displayed in the movies. What was it? The Mockingjay or the Mockingbird. The Mockingjay. It was about them taking over, and they built a dome. They built a dome and they was able to control the earth. That's why when they played the games, they was able to bring animals, bring out smoke and all that, because they controlled the environment. And down there,
I've never seen it. Hold on, bro. You said the name of it is the Mockingbird. I'm gonna look for it.
Mockingjay.
Oh,
It's
Mockingjay.
from the series. It's from the Hunger Games series. Mockingjay. And it's when you research Mockingjay, they put Mockingbird and another bird together, because what happens is how it goes is the Mockingjay is deep symbolically, from a symbolic level. Basically, they breeded the Mockingbird with this other bird and created the Mockingjay, because what happened was the government had genetically modified this bird to go look in, on people and see what they were doing, so they knew what the people were doing. And then the bird would come back and tell the people. So what they did was the people got smart and then breeded that bird, and that became the symbol, because that bird would then go tell the government the wrong messages.
Yes.
So the Mockingjay became the symbol of the resistant movement. You know what's so deep is that the Mockingjay can mimic at about 400 sounds. It can sound like a chair, a car starting, all that different shit. That's what's so fascinating about this bird.
Brother said the blue jay. He said, what about the blue jay, or no?
I'm not too sure about the blue jay. I know the Mockingjay is what's known for being able to recreate sounds. You know what I'm saying? And but birds in particular, you know what I'm saying? The art of flight, all this different stuff, the symbolism. We look at, the birds that represent this nation and other nations too as well. We have to understand that the symbolism comes in, in huge and heavy. It deals with eyesight. The eagle and the hawk is able to see from miles up in the air. You see what I'm saying? So it's even deeper symbolism because it's the eyesight that we have to have. Insight is always going to be better than eyesight, though. Insight is always going to be better than eyesight.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So if we get our sight on in here, working off what they call the pineal gland, right, which is active, okay, then we take on a totally different. Now, mind you, the pineal gland is full of they call it pineal sites or something like that, full of crystals.
Yeah, nothing but crystal. That's the diamond. That's that diamond. Those diamonds that we have in our lungs and we have up there. This is what happens when the plasma, that gold, that liquid gold in your blood starts to oscillate. When the sun literally heats it up, it generates it. The sun activates that melanin, gives it 15 volts of energy. As soon as that energy hit the plasma in the blood, it starts to oscillate very fast through your bloodstream. Now it moves up. This is what causes that crystalline energy, the Christos. They try to tell you it's outside of you, but it's inside of you. Because see, now the Christos rises up, it activates those crystals, like the brother just stated, right? Now you have your aura or your Taurus field that people always talk about, the protection that surrounds you, because it is actually literally a protection. It literally, like, it's like a force field. This is what the Star Wars is about. They talking about you, but that's another story.
But it's still on the same wavelength because look, I'll tell you, I work at a place where I put together these sub assemblies, as they call them, and they have these motherboards. Obviously, they have microchips on them. But what we got to do, we stand on a mat that grounds us, and we got to put these straps inside of our shoes to take the electricity away from us so that it don't spark the motherboard. That's what I'm saying. And then when I was hired in, I had to, we had to look at this, 2-hour-long video, and it talked about electricity, how much electricity you generate, and how the electricity you generate could pass through you and then shatter the microchip on the motherboard. And this is why you have to do this and where but see, and that's what I'm saying. They know. That's what I'm sitting up there and I'm listening to all this. I said, man, these blockos know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they doing. And we sit back and we talk about this stuff. They, oh, nigga, that's pseudoscience. You talking about you electric, you got an aura, you talking about crystals, and I ain't got time for all that shit. How I pay my bill? You get these dumb Negroes.
They so dead, brother. They dead minded. They really the zombies. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. You had this pulled up that you said.
Yes, I was going to read this real quick and then take it down, brother. This is just to show and verify to them what I was saying about the pepsin that Mama Chief told me about, right? It's crazy because when she said it, it just blew my mind. Like, yes, of course, we know this, but just for them to just have the shit out there and going into it being these so-called proteins, they'll tell you protein. You need protein. These guys, listen, I'm going to say this. Any man that's trying to build muscle, right? And y'all taking these protein shakes and all, this is for you. Listen very closely, right? Commercial pepsin, that's what the protein is. Pepsin, look it up yourself, Pepsin. The commercial pepsin is extracted from the glandular layer of hog stomachs. Do you guys hear me? The commercial pepsin, which is protein, when you see protein, when you're reading any type of ingredient and it's saying protein, the same fat the brother telling y'all about right now, all that is the same protein, fat, the sugar, right? The commercial pepsin, right? It is extracted from the glandular layer of the hog stomach. It is a component of rennet used in curdled milk and during the manufacture of cheese. Just so y'all know, I just want y'all to see that for yourself. I'm gonna put it in the chat as well. Disgusting, straight hog stomach.
Oh yeah, that's it's just ridiculous stuff. And like you said, with cheese and stuff, they've not only made us. I mean, because I remember I had a cheese addiction earlier in my life. I mean, cheese, the pizza night, you grow up on this cheese. And so then what they do is they know that you go through the muscles, because they learned this in 1905. So in 1905, they learned that yeast wasn't the only thing that fermented alcohol or fermented sugar and made alcohol. Your muscles do it. So they know, like, one thing that they were going to feed you was they're going to feed you extra yeast. Okay, yeast needs sugar. Sugar is going to feed in when it's going to poop out alcohol, right? And so the main diet that they had or got us addicted to was a whole bunch of yeast, right? From bread and a lot of bacteria. So yeast and bacteria. So they want so much as feeding you protein. These blancos was feeding you another organism to go to war in your body. bacteria, and fungus. This is one of the reasons why, if you notice, they'll rename fungus. If you got fungus on your feet, they'll call it athlete's foot. You got fungus in a certain area, they'll call it a yeast infection. You got fungus on your skin, they'll call it fibromyalgia. They just rename the same thing. When your baby has a fungus infection, they'll call it flush. You're like, what the fuck is it? You listen. I'm gonna tell you, if you look up this what really, when I had my first channel, I just gave an example of how they reverse engineer nature, and you just don't know what's going on. For one of our brothers and sisters that asked us about the diseases and sexually transmitted diseases, and she brought up herpes. Well, the main medication for her, I forget what the main, but you can look this up. One of the most popular forms of herpes medication comes from something called guanine. Guanine is bat doodle. It's bat poop. Oh my goodness. I can't make this up. So, anytime you're talking about, the things that we take, it's always some other organisms that they put together. And we got to realize these organisms begin to live inside of us. This fungus lives inside of us. This bacteria lives inside of us. But matter of fact, the Blanco will then tell you what in the same breath. Oh, well, you got gut bacteria. You got some good bacteria. You got some bad bacteria. And it's, you leveling it out, making sure that you got more good than bad. And what they do is help you to digest your food. Then what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing if the bacteria and the fungus doing all the work?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So what you have to understand, what the Blanco is telling you, is that I'm feeding somebody, but it just ain't you. I'm feeding something, but it's just not you. So when things go wrong, we sit up there and we just be like, well, yeah. And that's, Bad Saint said we got to stop chasing isolated news. Yeah, because it doesn't exist. In nature. Nothing exists in nature in isolation.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, Doritos is horrible. That's made out of corn, supposedly. But you're dealing with a genetically modified. Matter of fact, if you look on the bottom of a Doritos bag on the back is going to say cultivated or made with genetically modified ingredients. And the sad part about this, that insult to injury, is like, you got Blancos who will sit up there and had to fight to label this stuff. This Blanco didn't even want to tell you what was in the food. You had to fight for those labels.
That's right.
This Blanco's like, no, labeling. What do you need to know what's in the food for? What you so nosy for? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just genetically modified corn. But remind you, this even goes back. You see how information is interrelated. They took over corn because it was something that the Olmecs were very popular for. Maize. They grew corn because corn had a specific type of sugar in it that helped you to maintain your fertility, helped you to maintain those growths, not just the physical growth and maturation process through what we call puberty, but also our spiritual maturation process to help us get to the highest level of enlightenment. They knew that they had to hone in on certain foods and food sources in order to get that. One being maize, obviously another cocoa, another being cocoa and all that, the tobacco plant, all of this different stuff. These were the things that got us to the next level. Now, the Blanco knew the first thing he had to do when he was enslaving us, he knew that he had to take over this hormone. So the first place he went to was the Greater Antilles. Mind you, the Greater Antilles is considered the West Indies. That means Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, all of those islands, Tobago, and all the Virgin Islands. The Greater Antilles meant it was called mystical islands. That was the first place, but they knew they had to go there first. They knew that that's where the Olmecs traded with the Egyptians and all of this pipeline. They knew that's where they had to go. Do you know, side note, that the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean is the Bermuda Triangle? I go back. I say this. When you look at when they went there, they had to take over the sugar cane or the crystals. See, they got you worried about crystals under the ground. Real crystals we should be worried about is that's on the earth, because that's what we use to survive and to make more crystals. So they took over the sugar cane first, took over those areas. Then they took over the corn. They made sure that the original Mexicans or the original indigenous couldn't grow the corn no more. So they like, this was our main export. This was what we've been trading in corn for millennia. You see what I'm saying? And the Blanco took that away from them. The niggas be like, man, I wonder why all these Mexicans coming up here. I wonder why. Because this is what they do. They take away, they destabilize you, mix you up, because every tribe knew what their bloodline was, or their star food was, or their sugar food was, or their crystals food was. We knew what, according some tribes mainly only grew one particular type of crop. If you notice, there's a good movie about it called Moana. Anybody took their children to see Moana? I don't know if anybody in the chat ever took their people. You ever seen Moana Sister? The Disney flick? I don't know if she's still up. But if you look at Moana, you'll notice that people, they survived around the coconut. That's all they grew. That's all they grew. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately, this is the thing that we got to understand. Getting back to that type of life could be extremely hard. But ultimately, what you do is you tap into self. You know, you just have to tap into self, and you have to start, you know, thinking about what it is that you like. What do you have an affinity for? Maybe you like grapes and oranges, or let me check this right quick. Sorry, you guys. Hold on. Okay, go out, come back in. Okay.
Just kicked me out, brother.
They kicked you out.
Yeah, it took me a minute to get back in.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was doing. So I was like, yeah, because I asked you a question. I was like, oh, the sister must be yeah, you know, busy or something. Yeah, they
it was looking like at first it looked like it took you out. So I'm thinking it was trying to take you out. So I'm like, oh brother. I said, I think it's taking you out. The screen is doing something. It looked like you're sitting in the back, right? So you didn't respond. So I was like, he maybe can't even hear me. He probably out the screen. I said, hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can get him to come back in. So I was like, I said, go out and come back in. I'm just talking, so you must couldn't hear me. So then I text you. I'm like, brother, I said, go out and come back. But it was me it knocked out. That is crazy. I didn't even know I was out for a minute.
Yeah, they doing work right now, and they going overtime and they work. But yeah, it's you know, like you said, this is a part of this game. You know, and it's unfortunate that a lot of our people can't see it though. But I know more of us are waking up than they would lead us to believe, because this is one of the reasons why they continue to keep suppressing our channels, our information. Yeah, because you know they know exactly what's going on. This is yeah, so yeah, that I was just talking about I think I was leading up to, I was talking about just not just the, you know, the crystals, but I was stating that, you know, when we come into the, you know, the knowledge of self, and why they make it so, you know, such a point to go to where the crystals were, like in those islands, the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles. This meant actually the mystical lands. That's Cuba, Haiti, and all of that. I was mentioning how, you know, the Bermuda Triangle is the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, all of these things, they knew that this was this mystical area where the Olmecs and the Egyptians used to trade not only ideas, but, you know, the very sugars and crystals that could allow us to empower ourselves to get on the highest level. That was the whole point of that interaction. If we're going to lead ourselves to believe that Black people, the way that we are, we always go where it's popping. You know, we do this here in the United States of America. Oh, Atlanta popping, we traveling down there. We everywhere Black people popping at. So you think, when did things change? It didn't change. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking about, yeah, the Moana movie. I asked you, did you see the Moana movie? You ain't seen Moana yet?
Moana, hold on, I gotta write that one down too, brother.
Come on, man.
I don't really watch movies or TV like that, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, Moana, MOWANNA.
No, MOANA. MOANA, Moana. Okay. Yeah, and it's so deep. What I was showing was how a whole tribe was centered around that one fruit, the coconut. I was showing how, yeah, like water, water. Of course. They man, that's one of the most powerful moves. And what she did was she had to go find a god. You know what I'm saying? He was a god. He was like a demigod. I just want to let you see the movie. It's deep. It's so.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, the people actually, those who come from that line, supposedly, as they say, they they watched the movie and gave it a thumbs up. The only thing they disagree was that Moana should have been a male because women can't be royalty. They can be royalty, but they can't lead the nation. They said other than that, the movie was on point.
Lie. Who
right,
said
I know,
that?
but they dealing with a patriarchal. That's what lets you know they infected. That's how you know they're not the real ones, because African thought, or so-called African thought, or Black people's thought, is rooted in matrilineal energy. You see what I'm saying? That's just it. We ain't here to see all these people got these debates and manosphere. Now we're not dealing with all. We just want to deal with the facts. That's why I have my show Facts Over Feelings. I'm not here to talk about what you want it to be. Let's talk about how it is. You see what I'm saying? We're not here to talk about how you want it to be. Okay? Because niggas like, oh, we go to war. Women gonna have to be protected. Nigga, don't you know most of our women are nurses and healthcare practitioners? You think you ain't gonna get hit by no bullets? In fact, who gonna stitch your ass up?
Exactly.
Everybody serves a purpose in war. You get shot up or something, don't you see that these soldiers, they go to places where they can be stitched up, healed up, and rest. And usually, a vast majority of these individuals are women, just like you see it in the hospital field now. Yep. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that brings us to the point of I wanted to kind of go side like this is how crucial we have to be in our understanding of this, and that we can segue into this just a little bit. I just wanted to touch on this just quickly. When we look at the problem that we have, the problem is the reason why the woman gets so much flack. The reason why our Black women get so much flack, because you heard this in the Spider-Man movie. With great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility.
That's right.
Because the woman, like we just talked about, all this food that we talked about, how she shapes her body will determine what type of star seed comes out of her. That's her responsibility. That is literally her responsibility. And then she will feed that star seed for 2 to 3, 4 years, or however long she decides to breastfeed that child. And that will decide how the child develops. If I'm lying, then why does a doctor want to evaluate that child every 6 months or a year? You got a pediatrician, because they're seeing how your child is developing from the star food you give it. Right? Not only that, if you notice, the Blanco makes a preemptive strike. You go through a K through 12 mindfuck called the public school system. And 80 to 90% of the teachers of the public school system are white women. Let me repeat that again. 80 to 90% of the teachers in the public school system are white women. So when Black women look up and they be like, I wonder why these Black men like white women. They've been raised by them. Now, this doesn't give an excuse. This just goes to show you that this is a concerted effort on part of the European, to make their woman accessible, because they understand that in order to replace that dynamic, it has to be in front of them since kindergarten, since they're little. I have to shape their minds at the beginning. And Black women don't. We do it. We say we just drop our kids off. They supposed to teach my kids what they with all this sexual stuff for. That's what the job is.
And you done put them, handed them over, sacrificed them because of what? You want to take your ass to work. So now you done gave your baby to these people to raise. When you can't sit there, let them sit at home, develop their mind, use their imagination, build for our future like they're supposed to be doing. We supposed to be sitting back treating them like they go, letting them build their mind up, getting us prepared. Come on, bro. Hit it. You ain't lying.
It's the most devastating thing in the world that we don't see it. And it is duality. Remember, we talked about iconography, how we go back to shaping our image. I told somebody before, I said, think about this. Black men out here talking about, and I'm just not going to get off into this. I'm just showing you what it is. Don't think that I'm taking sides or anything, because Black men like, man, you going against this? No, nigga, it's about the truth. Okay? Now, this is what I say. I say that the white man is in control of his white woman's image. How do we know this? Because the Black man, imagine a Black man making a movie about being in love with a Black woman who's a prostitute. They would call that man a simp. Right now, in today's age, they would call him a simp. Yeah. But the white man made a movie about it and won an Oscar and called it Pretty Woman. Ain't this something?
Crazy. It's crazy, bro.
Look, he said I could show my woman as a prostitute whore and still fall in love with her. She can fall in love with a man who makes millions of dollars. We don't worry about that. You see what I'm saying? I can make my woman the face of pornography.
Ooh.
I can make her the face of pornography.
And she can still be the president's wife and everybody gonna accept it.
But we getting back there. Like we said, it's on our, that's why with great power comes great responsibility, because you bring in the star seed. You are the portal. Women are the star gate.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So when you see a lot of pressure put on your black women, like they're not reacting the way that they're supposed to, they're like, man, I need all this pressure. What's going on? When we need black men to step up, blah, blah. Look, first thing that you got to do if you have the opportunity to, because my mom did it. I know the part. My mom sat me in front of books. She's like, my mom was like, here go this book. You done reading that? And my mom didn't even graduate middle school. My mom got pregnant when she was 15. Okay.
She poured into you though. That's what's up.
She's like, you gonna learn how to read. And she said this. She's like, you're not just gonna learn how to read, you're gonna have to understand what you have read. Because if you cannot understand what you have read, nigga, you cannot read. It's called reading comprehension. So my mom would always sit stuff down in front of me. Then of course she later on got indoctrinated, later on in her life became a Jehovah's Witness, but that don't take away from the fire and spirit that I knew when I was young. She was like, bro, you gonna listen. Listen, little dude, come in here, you reading. And before you know it, I just became infatuated with the art. Because I knew that was the doorway on the metaphysical level into reinforcing the energy that you got from the sun that we call these crystals and stuff. So yeah, definitely powerful stuff. It's just great responsibility that comes on us. And then those of us who know we got to do a great job too. We're not saying that this gives us the opportunity to say, oh, Sister C, it's all on you. It's not. It's not all on them. Those who know better do better, right? We know that now that we're out here, this is the point of what we're doing now, is that we are congregating with those who are of the spiritual likeness that we know can help bring about that force that can encourage dramatic change. This is about building with your spiritual family. You may have came here through a different Stargate, but you will find your spiritual family. You will find out who your star line is. You know who your quote unquote, artificial bloodline is, but we're talking about your real bloodline, which is your star line. Who are you connected with on a metaphysical level? You'll find those people. And like you said, it wasn't just by chance that we found, like you said, you happened upon the page. Ain't no such thing as happening.
Right. Ain't no such thing. And you know what's crazy? I didn't even mention this to you, but now when you said that, I just thought of something. When I seen the page, I was like, who is this? And it was still like, it was like you was familiar to me, brother. I swear, it was like I seen the page before. I know the page, but I've never seen it. But it was like, it was so familiar. Like, who is this? And I'm like, do you know this guy? Did you see this video before? Maybe I seen it. He ran across before. But when I went to it, I wasn't subscribed. So I said he couldn't have. Because if it's somebody that I like their information, I immediately subscribe to him. So I hadn't seen you before. So that shocked me too. But I just thought about that. That was crazy too.
Yeah, that's called synchronicity. That's just the things aligning, you know what I'm saying, where we the Most High is putting everything, because it's just not us, like we talked about doing what we do. It's the Most High doing what she does at the highest level, because we got to understand the sun is the greatest mathematician. You see what I'm saying? We got to look the study of geometry. Geometry literally means earth shapes. So if the sun is growing food and they're symmetrical and they got these shapes, they're shaped a certain way, which they do math on. That lets you know the sun is the greatest mathematician. So which means even in our events, our day-to-day activities, when we go and we think about doing something or heading out or, going this place and that place, we know a lot of times an accident. Have you ever been in traffic? You're like, oh, that car just missed me. But it took all those events before you left the house to ensure that car just missed you. You see what I'm saying? It's your higher self being the greatest mathematician, because you may say you bad at math, but your body keeps tracks of trillions of cells. Yeah, and knows each one of them and what they're doing. That's a godlike nature. Your brain and your heart never rest. That's how you know what immortality feels like. You consciously rest. The brain doesn't. The heart doesn't. Your organs don't. This vessel never rests. So it shows you that when something works tirelessly, something works relentlessly, there's supposed to be a goal achieved. Something worked that hard. Imagine if you went to work and the nigga who left, when you left work, that nigga was still there when you got there. You're like, man, did you go home? No, I'm working. You're like, what the fuck is this nigga working for?
Right.
Like, that nigga trying to get 2 houses. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So you got to ask yourself, if the body's never resting, what is it trying to accomplish? Yeah. This is deep stuff. So, it is, like we said before, incumbent upon us who know it's our responsibility, like we're doing. We're taking full accountability in that regard, Joe, too, because, we got channels, we network with people, we interact with others, and we're genuine about it. I remember me and you was talking earlier when we said that, look, it seems like the people who are really genuine about are being suppressed, not just by the mass media, because
Yep.
you know that comes to territory. I mean, they got a bottom line and they also have an agenda. But what's so
Right.
profound is that we find out that we're receiving the most resistance from people within the so-called quote unquote conscious community.
Okay.
Right?
Yes,
Listen.
right.
Listen. I asked somebody, I was like, man, what would you charge me? And I ain't even gonna say no names because this ain't clout chasing. I don't want nobody to say nothing because I still respect them because this is what it is. They don't have to do nothing for me, right? And I reached out to him and I said, hey, you know, what would it cost for you to, you know, just kind of shout out my channel or for me to sponsor your episode? They're like, oh, $500 for a mention, $800 for 2 mentions. I said, a mention? $500 just to be mentioned?
Hey, I ain't even going to come up there and do my spiel. Just let them see what I got, what I'm coming with. Nothing. Just the mention of my name. Oh,
goodness, just to mention.
Disgusting.
And this person, I'm gonna tell you, they're one of their channel is I mean, it's huge by my standards, you know, over 200,000 subscribers. They were pretty big. Other channel got over 100,000, and they you know, they talk about Black liberation now, and you know, they're passionate. And I really honestly probably believe that they're passionate. But you know, things like that, when I look at my level of passion, if I see like, you know, like we talked about souls like us that's out there doing what we do best, you can't help but to gravitate to that and want to build with that type of energy.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and in my opinion, to me, it's too much spookism. It's too much snake oil. Everybody makes it seem like to reach the supernatural. And trust me, there's going to be grace to this stuff because eventually people are like, well, hey, Heru, I'm going to be waiting on you to turn supernatural. You bet to believe that I believe with my whole heart and soul that I'm going to accomplish that. I have it in dreams. I dream it all the time. That's why when I told my subscribers it's a year of Heru, which we know Heru also means hero. You have to be your own hero.
That's right.
Who better to save yourself than you? But do you want the responsibility? I remember I had a Clubhouse meeting while I was on Clubhouse. We had a panel, and it was an exciting time. So hear all those, man, I had brothers and sisters in there that was 15, 16, 17 years old on some high science shit. I was just floored. Because I you know, that's what gave me. I was like, man, our people we about to put in some work. But we had discussed this. We had said, like, you know, it's the Superman movie, the latest one, where you have Kevin Costner as Superman's dad. Watch that one. Just look up which, because I don't know which one that is. But what he does is he starts going crazy, right? Like his superpowers, like the puberty, it starts kicking in young. His puberty kicked in early. They showing you something deep. His step, because mind you, in order to turn from a boy to a man or a girl to a woman, you got to go through puberty first. And then from puberty, you go to your spiritual ascension, but they stop you with the hormones and the sugar. So his puberty kicked off early and his spiritual stuff kicked off early too. So his x-ray vision started going off. He started seeing his classmates' bones and heart beating and stuff. So he was like, he went crazy. So he ran out the classroom and ran into the closet. And so the teacher tried to knock on the door and figure out what was going on. And he could hear the students say, he's weird. He seems crazy. And so the teacher tried to open the door. He uses heat vision and from his eyes and stuff and made the doorknob hot. She's like, oh, shoot. She's like, what's wrong? You know, tell him to get out, you know, to get out of there. And so his mom came. And so his mom came and said, what's wrong, baby? He was like, the world's too big, Mom. She said, well, then make it small. That's where the whole symbology of the Superman came from, Smallville.
Wow.
Because he had to make the world small. Why? And why is this important? It's because if you know anybody who comes into their superpowers in real life, people gonna think you crazy. You might even think you crazy. You start hearing other voices, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I think I'm going crazy. I'm tapping into radio waves. I can hear radio signals. Yeah, mama, he needs to go to the hospital. But if you in the movie, you're like, oh, I'm Superman. Why? See, we only associate superpowers. This was what's critical to their movies. We will only give credit to superpowers and to extraterrestrial strength and mental strength as if we're in a movie. But in real life, if it happened, if we see somebody doing all these things, all of a sudden they're a demon, they're a devil. If it happened to you, you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. So now you know why the brain takes its time to expose you to things. Remember, the brain basically takes in this whole myth. I even heard this one sister saying it. She's like, oh, you only use 10% of your brain. That's a myth. You use 100%. Your brain literally just doesn't expose to you everything it experiences. This is deep. It withholds from you the higher level because it knows you're not consciously ready.
That's right. You have to be able to tap in because we taking in. This is why they play so much on the crystallization of information that goes into us, all those senses that we're pulling in. Because man, soon as that happens, they're able to tap in, and then now they're writing that false information on your mind, usually using that brain mapping to give you false information. This is what keeps people further away from the light as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and you don't. And trust me, for the most part, like you won't get a second chance at this. You might, if it's reincarnation, you might be able to, come back again. But if you got a shot, you better take it now. You know what I'm saying? If you got a shot, because like they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. All right, so you just put something up there. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if it's gonna hit or not, but just to sit up there and act like you're gonna get this shot again. So many things can happen. You could die as a baby, die during childbirth, die at the born without all of your faculties. So if you got any faculty to speak of, you better get to this now. You better get to this now. And trust me, like you said, the reason why we come upon all this information because the brain is prepping us. If it gives us things that are paranormal, it will spook us out. Many people. That's why I was go back to that conversation I had, at Clubhouse with those, with a lot of our younger brethren and stuff. They're ready. They're like, I've been having these dreams where I'm flying and I do this and I do that. Yep. They're ready. You see what I'm saying? But someone who's an adult, we find ourselves more tied down to the artificial matrix. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want to let it go. That fake chicken tastes good. Them fake burgers and all of the lifestyles that they promote to you, all of that seems like it's just intoxicating. We can't let it go.
Yeah. You see? So addicted. So,
go ahead.
I say, yeah, so addicted.
Yeah, we are. And unfortunately, that will be the bane of your existence, not letting go of that addiction to something that they already tell you won't last long. The Blanco's running away from it. So if the Blanco's running away from, dig this. Side note, I had a conversation with this Blanco at work. Mm-hmm. And he's like, tell me why y'all want reparations. He said, no, I'm just honestly asking. I said, well, personally, me, I don't want reparations. But if I said you guys couldn't repay me for what you did to our ancestors, period. And even greater, so you can't repay me for what you've done to the earth. You see what I'm saying? You made up that weightless, valueless ass dollar that ain't got no dollar on it, that and then gave it to people. I said, what I find to be more incredulous, and I think you should find this to be more amazing, is that you got people to work for 400 years for free, and your nation is in debt. What was the point of slavery?
Where did the money go? Where is it at?
And I said,
sending them invisible trust that they keep hiding from you, but that's another story.
Exactly. Not to mention, like you said, is the insult to injury is that you got us paying into a debt you said started in the Revolutionary War. So if you so keen to pay a debt that started a long time ago, then why wouldn't you be so keen to pay a debt that started 400 years ago? But I said all that to say this. I said, notice how the Blanco will always make sure that you think that anything that is guaranteed to you, that whether it's reclaiming your history, whether it's getting reparations or anything else in the past, they say, oh, that happened too long ago. And in the same breath, they would say, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your savior? So you want me to accept something 2,000 years ago, but I'm supposed to forget about something that happened 400 years ago.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is the problem. Like what we're looking at, our people, the Olmecs, the Aztecs, the Incas, the Egyptians, the Lemurians, the whoever you want to go back. Remind you, we know that all these names, what they call themselves, but just for the sake of argument,
right.
You look at all of these people, we say that we have to recapture that. So that's when I tell our people, don't get so caught up into telling people you were the Egyptians, you were the Olmecs. Just prove it to them. Just become the Egyptians. Just become the Olmecs, right? Because you spending time talking about it, you wasting your time. That's only for our circles. You know what I'm saying? When we trying to pump each other up, just like how when you got a team, right? You see the huddles in football and in basketball. We could do it. They pumping each other up.
Yeah.
But then at some point in time, you got to go out on that field and make it happen. You can't spend your whole life doing pep talks. Huddle up, huddle.
Oh my gosh, you sound like me, brother. I'm telling you, it's like it's crazy. Just talking. Okay, there needs to be some action. Put forth the action. Someone, let's go.
Yep. Because to me, that says So Empress Awaken says, bipolar, schizophrenic, and he's writing nothing but squares. And he told you, yeah, I mean, that opens up different senses. It's an excellent video on YouTube about hemi-syncing, where the CIA has done experiments since the 1980s. Oh, listen, sis,
Bro.
come on now. You already know that madness.
Bro, we did the video. That's crazy you brought that. I literally did this video last month on this. I did part 1 and I have not finished part 2, but I showed them a video that finished part 2. But we literally read the whole, damn near the whole document, brother. And I keep telling them how you have to sync this in order to materialize these particular energies that we literally walking through walls. Like, come on, this is real out here. We are literally the document proving we are the gods. They know it.
Yep. And you know how I would tell everybody, mind you, that the whole point of this build is to do what? Give people practical measures on how to do this. Now, if you don't do the exercises, that's on you. If you don't do the exercise, that's on you. So we always got to know, it's kind of like, and I'll say this, it's shades of how when you hear people saying, nigga, I'm in the 7th, 8th dimension, but ain't mastered the 3rd. Nigga, do some mastery on the 3rd, then I'll believe you on the 7th and 8th dimension. So basically, you got to take baby steps. So, you know, the practical way to hemisync is this. For instance, you look at your body. Your body looks symmetric, right? You got your right hand and your left hand, but you know you're either right-handed or left-handed. So it says what? That your body's uneven. You're not equally yoked. You can't use one side of your body the same that you can use the other. But when I visually look at you, you look symmetric. You look like you have equal energy. You don't. So how do you start hemi-syncing? Well, this is what you do. You use the part of side of your body first that you don't normally use. You become ambidextrous. Instead of writing something with your right hand, write it with your left all the time. Instead of using something to eat with your right, use it with your left. The body then has to send signals to areas you doesn't normally send signals to. This is the physical basis of hemi-syncing. And once the body ties in, because remember, every thought is an electric current. When you build up electrical currents, you have what's called neural pathways. The more current goes in this pathway, the stronger the current becomes. And so the body then begins to build bridges. You see what I'm saying? And so this is how you hemisync, because we know that the two hemispheres are held together by what's called the corpus callosum, right? Which bridges it. And you have these ventricular systems that go through the brain, which are just holes inside the brain, with something that we call plasma, which they call cerebrospinal fluid, passes through and coats the brain, right? And coats the pineal gland, right? And the pineal gland sits right in the center, in the house of the brain, Bethlehem. This is what the symbolic Bethlehem represents. Okay, that's why Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem. You have something called claustrum or holy claustrum, claustrum. This is secreted every month when your so-called solar sign or your sign is in the moon phase, right? So at this time you secrete this holy claustrum, and this claustrum is what bathes the brain of the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. And then this is when you're supposed to be at your highest level. Now, I said all that to say this. You with me, sister? I think she's still there. You still there, sister?
Keep hearing the echo. It seems like when I'm just muting when you're talking, but yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. So when we talk about the manifestation of
it is. Let me mute again. Energy. I'm listening. I'm unmute to answer what you're saying. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. When we take a look at the sexual energy, that mind you, this is all sexual energy. Nobody's sitting up here trying to tell you how to use it. I'm not telling you go sleep with everybody to get your sexual energy or kundalini to rise or anything like that. But you have to understand that everything about you is sexual energy. In science, I'm pretty sure most of us they teach us this stuff in the 4th and 5th grade. You learn about something called cellular reproduction. Your cells literally have sex with themselves. They're called daughter cells. The cells, and it's called meiosis and mitosis. The only difference between meiosis and mitosis is that when you have sex with somebody, that cell then shares its DNA with another cell and makes a baby. It's called going half on a baby. 23 from somebody, 23 from you. But when you don't reproduce with somebody else, that cell gets an exact replication of the other cell, which is called a daughter cell. That's why when people get horny, like, we're just speaking adult stuff. You get in the mood, you're like, man, I'm in the mood. That's because it's a built up sexual energy. All you're feeling is the energy from the cells building up. Because when you eat, they tell you what? You make new blood cells. In order to make cells, they got to reproduce. They have to be produced. Okay? And that builds up the sexual energy. So sometimes you have to feel like you have to be released. When I hear a lot of these people say, because some guys who got videos on semen retention and all that different. So, oh, you got to hold back the sexual energy. That's how you master it. Well, I challenge that because I say, it's a lot of people who have what's called nocturnal emissions. That's the scientific term for wet dreams. Now, you can try to hold back all you want to, but I know anybody, you may have had them when you're younger, you may not have had them at all, but there are some people who suffer. That was actually going to be my next video that I was going to do on, was how to master the sexual energy and how you should interpret it. But when you try to hold it back for too much, the sexual energy will come out in your dreams. It's like, you're not gonna be able to hold me back for this long. I don't care what you think you're doing. This is the nature of this realm. It's how you use your energy. If sexual energy was so bad, you wouldn't have puberty. Now, we see puberty as one-dimensional, but we also know that it's two-dimensional because we start seeing them, we call it them hormones raging. Soon as we see our daughters or our sons growing up and our sons starting to get the facial hair and our daughters starting to look a little something, we like, man, here come that time. But it has to happen. You can't stop it. So how do these blancos look trying to stop something that's natural? And what they do, they'll let you know. We got something called hormone blockers, to where the child won't even develop into its assigned position by the Most High. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, real quick on what he's saying. Absolutely, Leonard. And on top of that, sometimes because it does something to that lobe that's in the back of the head, it's an underdevelopment, and that contributes to the ADHD as well.
Oh yeah, because that's that in the back of your skull you have something called the cerebellum. The cerebellum literally translates into little brain. It's almost as many neurons in that cerebellum than it is in your entire brain. Matter of fact, and then they know that you got really 3 brains. That's what the triune brain was talking about. A lot of people misinterpreted what old boy he put a lot of symbols in his book. But ultimately, these 3 brains is in the stomach and the gut. You got just as many neurons in your gut as you do in the brain. And then you got a little brain called the cerebellum. When they did autopsies on, an equal amount of black people and white people in the University of Michigan, you can look this up. They found out that the cerebellum or our little brain was a lot bigger than our counterparts. You see what I'm saying? And also in more recent autopsies in the 1970s, after black men came home from war, they recognized that their pineal gland was super active. So they know. Now check this out. We talk about what does the pineal gland secrete? Melatonin. Okay, melatonin is a combination of melano obviously means dark, but it's derived from serotonin. Okay, that's why it's called melatonin. Now, melatonin acts on your gonads or sexual organs, the testes and the ovaries, right? Respectively speaking. So this is what tunes into our biological clock. Now, understand this. When you go to sleep, this is why I told you, you have a hormone that is secreted by the brain at night that acts on your sexual organs. And you trying to get away from this energy. Not to mention, do you know, when the Blanco goes in his lab and modifies melatonin with animals, he can get them to breed out of season? Did you know that? This is how deep this stuff is. So once again, like I said, we're dealing with not getting the whole story. And then whatever story we do get, the Blanco twists it up, wraps it up in an enigma and throws it to you into a paradox. It's not going to be what we want, but this is primarily one of the reasons, like I said before, we have to make sure we put forth a concerted effort to make sure our children are scientifically inclined. Yeah, and Leonard Peel's right. You have to correct the diet, or we wouldn't say it's a diet because I don't like those first 3 letters in that word. That's why I tell people all the time. Try to say lifestyle or star style. You know what I'm saying? We got to correct what we put into, because this Blanco got all of this stuff wrapped up in his language. Like Martin Luther King said, now we'll give him this credit. He was, I didn't agree with all other stuff he was doing, but he said that it's couched in a language. The language is a curse.
That's right.
The language is a curse. Diet. I'm not trying to die. I'm not on no diet. I'm not dying. You're trying to live life. You're trying to take it to the next level. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, with the trees, and that does all of this stuff about crystals and trees and carbon, you know, us reclaiming the earth, all these topics that we discuss, us reclaiming ourselves, understanding that we only bond in crystal formation, that we are the crystallogens. That is the nick. That's not a name that I had given it. That's the name that these Blancos had given the carbon 14 group. Okay. Not to mention, like you said, is the sister I brought up these articles about crystallization, X-ray crystallography, Pepsin. They know exactly what you are. They're not attacking you because of who you are, Muslim and, you know, Christian and all. They're attacking you because of what you are. And that's how, you know, that's pretty much all I got to say, sister, unless you want to touch on another topic. But
just real quick on what you said and what they want you to be. So what they creating you in your dehumanizing state. So all these things that the brother talking about, when you're putting that stuff in you, you're cooperating with their dehumanizing behavior by transmutating yourself with these things in your entire structure. So we got to really get away from these things and make sure you're cleansing yourself, you're detoxing, you're purifying yourself to remove these things from yourself, because the toxins will do nothing but continue to harm you and literally end up being your demise.
Well said. Couldn't have said it better. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. So yeah, I definitely appreciate. We gotta have more bills like this, sister.
Definitely, brother. We got. I know you work. You be trying to do your own build, but you know we'll chit chat either way and figure it out. But we definitely gonna do another. We got to get this, keep this info pouring. I know it's plenty more you want to talk about, and definitely we can do that. So yeah, we'll set something else up so we can go back into it and get some more stuff out. It's just we just have to keep doing this because we have to like be aware, like literally. And you can talk about things so much, but it's so much better when you can elaborate. And you're very intelligent, brother. I really, really respect you. Like I told them, my chat know. The next day after I found your video, we did the whole live stream on it, and we just went in because I'm like, see, this is what I respect. And see, I'm promoting. I do it all the time. Like now, y'all make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to the brother. Y'all already know we got to get him up over 1,000. They're trying to keep him down in the algorithm, and we ain't trying to have that. All the truth will come to the light. It shall come to the light, and that's what it is. So we're going to do what we can to make sure we're always promoting what's best for us. And I think we need to do that. So yeah, make sure y'all go over there once again. And let me put it back in the chat again. And yeah, y'all go subscribe to the brother again.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, sister. Because I mean, I saw it. I was like, oh, that's dope. You know, because when I first saw it, I had actually got, you know, the notification from YouTube. And it was like, Sister shared you. I said, okay, let me check it out. And then I seen, you know, some of the other content. And then that's why I told you I was mad and upset that I just didn't hit the subscribe button because I was like, I had already been checking it out. And like you said, that energy, you know, once you realize that, you know, people are on the same wavelength, it's like an immediate connection because it's not a connection that you can feel and see with your own two eyes. It's that insight. It's that interconnection. Like you said, that you already feel like you knew that person because the information just seems, not only the information seems to roll, the wavelength seems to just pop out of nowhere and connect, you know, and you're like, man, you know, I've been on this. And, you know, when you hear and see somebody else not only on it, but living it and they're genuine, because you, like you said, you could tell by the actions that come out of somebody, by how what fruit they bear. And you was like, no, I got to get this information out. It's the same thing I do. I run in information on people's channels. I ask them, can I share this, man? Can I, or sister, you was deep on this, or, you know, you want, and then some people will be like, yeah, go ahead and share it. Others will be like, you know, that'll kind of cost you.
Right. Listen.
I was like, man, all right, you know, I'm just trying to, I know my channel, but you know, like I told you before, when they shut my channel down, I was 5, 6, I wake up, it was at 5, then it was at 7, then it was gonna go to 9. I said, oh, and then Google hit me with the old, is this really you? You know,
wow, here comes the game.
Yeah.
Is this you? Nigga been me for the longest, ever since I had these 6,000 subs. So now you want to know? Man,
we don't trust you to this your email. I sent them evidence. I sent them this, that. They was like, I don't think this is you, and took the channel from because you can't have the channel without the emails. He looked at link to the email.
Crazy.
So yeah, so basically, you know, we back and we're gonna try to build, but as you can see, yeah, they definitely you know, want to keep this type of information suppressed because it's, you know, people who are telling, you know, individuals who are telling our people what they are the most dangerous people on the so-called globe. Period. Are the most dangerous people on the so-called globe. And yeah, this was this is the one that we knew was going to be a wonderful build, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. We already know, bro. The energy was there from the our first conversation, so I already knew. Remember, I'm like, brother. I kept telling you, I'm excited. I'm excited. I told them to, yes, guys, I'm excited. They know how I get.
Right. So can we end it on the energy? I don't know if you want to play the last video, with the click don't play. I just kind of like be wanting to. And that gets me pumped up too. I know if you want to do the Egyptian, I like to see the
yes, brother.
It's
not showing. Are you trying to share it? I don't see it in the back yet. If so,
I can. Let me see. Yeah,
please, yes. You know I love that one. That thing fire. Let's get it. Perfect to go out with.
Let's see. What is this? All right. This one is open.
There it goes. Everyone that came in, you guys, we really appreciate your energy, your feedback. As always, y'all know y'all the fire chat. Ain't nothing better than the ones that come over here. Y'all always on point. Y'all be having the right comments. It's always respectful, nothing rude. Y'all just everything for real. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all the best of everything. Make sure y'all soar high tonight. When y'all go in there, grab something, do what? Bring something back. Make sure you can try and use it and activate it right now into the present time you're in. And that's it, y'all. We about to play this video. Y'all gonna enjoy it.
Oh, sister, can I say my last thing?
I'm sorry, brother.
I just gotta say this last thing. No, it's all good. We always end like this on the FOF Squad. Who is God? God is the judge. And why is she the judge? Because she decides who wins and loses, not my opponent. Who is my opponent? He does not exist. And why does he not exist? Because he is merely a dissenting voice to the truth I speak. Speak the truth.
Period, brother. Yes, phenomenal words. I love it. Let's go, brother. I'm gonna put it on there. Y'all peace, love, and bliss, guys. We out after this. And until next time, y'all look forward to the next one. Me and the brother get together. Y'all already know it's gonna be more fire. I can't wait. We're gonna get it set up whenever we get the time, and that's that. Peace, love, and bliss to everyone after this. We out, y'all. Y'all have a great one and be great.
DJ, work gas, work gas. All the hottest artists on the planet, tee 'em up. HAINUS here. Because I'm gonna let you know, if you're in the water, you're gonna die. Illuminati dies here today, mom.
It's a shark in the zoo. They say in Babylon, put the mark on him too. His whole body light so we can maul other guys. If my all-seeing eye going dark on me too. And them coffers for you. I'm ready so the devil who I call out first. I heard God call us behind the great wall. He I made a sword off to kick them all off earth. Hey, so my click don't play. Heaven gotta choose the wolf or the lamb. Get shot down by a pig in the street. Why do niggas gotta beef when it's a whole lot of hell? Alright. It's a hole in the dam. They can't flood Merc, so they shoot down gangs. Merc fly high, baby, Merc won't die. I don't see nobody here that can shoot down planes. It's like I shoot down veins. You're turning everybody in the hood to an addict. You look 6th grade to a bully with a habit. Cause I'm a switchblade or a fully automatic. Let's go. It's only 2 ways out. Don't ever try to sit and think of running cause you can't. It's only screaming die while you running out of tank. Or screaming try bitch while you running out the bank. My click don't pay. I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. My hoe act right like she came with an Emmy. She want black pipe cause she came with the Remy. Ain't no pain even in me. You probably wouldn't know where I blow back kush. It's 5 knockouts when it's 5 cops out. Or it's 5 shots out from the big bad wolf. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I threw a clip in the cave but I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I threw a clip in the cave, but I'm probably in the range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say, this is the only way I know to handle this.